pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Morning, everybody. Commissioner McClure is not here today. We'll go ahead into the board of minutes for November 21st.
I'll move to accept the minutes, except. I think on the claim, did you make a motion to accept the claims or did I?
You did.
I did?
Right, backwards?
It was just you and me. You were sitting
Yeah.
right there.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Other than that, I'll move to accept the minutes.
Second, any public public comment? Being none, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, we're gonna pay the course on this. First one from Lauren Bolton. Telling us that Anaconda Deer Lodge County will not be renewing its professional service agreement with us. But are willing to try to help us figure out what we're gonna do. Next one is from Morgan Parks. On an animal crop. Let us know about role with Yellowstone to Yukon Conservation Inactive. From wildlife migration. Next one from Eric Bryson from Montana Association of Counties. Still going over the mail thing.
There was a decision.
What was it?
So the 95 mils is what the Supreme Court decided that you guys have to levy. So you'll either have to send out a supplemental bill or rebill second half.
We're going up higher.
Any public comment on correspondence? All right, we'll go right into public comment. You got your comment? Come up, state your name and stuff.
Okay, you stand up.
Yeah, or you can come up here and sit. You don't have to
Well, I
stand.
don't bother standing. I'm Louis Polinsky from down at Maxville, right next door neighbor to Scott, of course, you know. Anyway, what I'm coming about is I'm trying to find out what I can possibly do to get the road at the 4 mile up Little Gold Creek repaired. I have talked to Blanche on it several times last year and this year. And I've talked to the county about it. I've talked to this Forest Service about it. And nobody will take any interest in doing anything about fixing the road. And what it is, the first time I did was about 7 years ago when the road washed out. Well, the year before that, I commented to the county, the road department at that time, that's like I say 10 years ago. But I told them, I says, the big culvert up on the 4 mile marker on Little Gold Creek is heaving out of the ground. It's coming up, and every year it freezes and comes pushes up. And then now it's up to about that high above where it's supposed to be. And so the next year, when the runoff came in the spring, it filled up, it couldn't get in the culvert, so it filled up and up and up and over the banks, washed the road out from here, about here to the parking lot out there. The average rocks are about the size of that, whatever that thing is there. And I can't do anything with it. Dave Harris, you probably all know Wild Meat. Okay, well, Dave and I and my nephew went up and we got there and we couldn't get through it. So we took and we went out, we spent the whole afternoon hauling small rocks in, filling in some of the big boulder holes, moving some of the bigger boulders that we could move and build the road out and around, up on the mountain, back down again, up over the top of the culvert. And then after that, I went in, my nephew and I, and we hauled, but with buckets, hauled dirt over and put and poles across the edges of the banks of the creek so they couldn't run over no more. And so that stopped the water from running over the top.
Wasn't that a Forest Service culvert?
I don't know who put it in. Whoever did, they didn't do the job right because they didn't put it deep enough.
Where exactly is I can't, I haven't been up there before. Okay.
Okay, you know, Little Gold,
Yeah,
okay, you go up and you go to the cow camp to the left. Down that trail, I don't know what the number of the trail is, 85 something or other.
That's why I thought it was a Forest Service, you know.
And then you go around the corner right there, like you're going out towards the Sunday. And right at the 4 mile marker, there's the road goes up like this, just to the top, and then from there on, it's clear way out anyway, is good, as far as I know. But that there's been bad for, heaven forbid. Well, just like I say, I talked to Paul Alt about it about six years ago probably. And he said, well, I'll take to the powers that be, and I'll get back to you and let you know. And so the answer was nothing. And then I went up, and here now is a sign right there in Princeton, right at the bridge. It says, no regular maintenance beyond this point, enter at your own risk. Well, that's all well and good, if that had been in there when I bought the property up above, but I can't even get into my property.
But I think it was always non-maintained, wasn't it? Will?
I don't know, because it was, they had a beautiful road in there, when they logged that off up there.
That's why I thought that called for the Forest Service, but I'm not sure, I'll have to, I don't should be here any
I always
second.
thought it was too, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't wanna say you.
Well,
Ours
that's
or theirs,
right.
he should be here any second, and then, if you wanna just hang out here and
Okay,
we'll talk about it some more. And then that way, we know it's all on record, and you talk to him. And he
well, you
can
know,
go
the thing
up
of it
there.
is, I'm not asking for regular maintenance up there.
No.
All I'm doing is asking for a one-time fix on that road, because I've been maintaining it for the last probably, well, I've been up there for 33 years. And I've maintained it. I haul buckets of gravel and fill potholes. And these new side-by-side four-wheelers are detrimental to that road. So,
Show me on the map.
okay, I can find that for you. There's Williamsburg Lake, is that what you want there? Maybe, it'd be coming up,
You see it better on this big one?
more than might be. This way. Okay, you go right on up Princeton, you take the Little Gold, that's Royal. There's a Little Gold.
There's a little comparison right there.
There's Little Gold right here, okay, you're Little Gold, you're on this point here, you're here, up to here, and then you go.
See, it's not ours till you get up in there, I thought, that's.
Right, it's, this is clear up into here, but they told me when I bought the property back in 1992, that was a county road.
Looks like it from here, from. Through.
Well, I talked to the Forest Service and they said, well, it's county and us both. So, and I said, well, can you guys do something? And they said, well, talk to the county about it. So I talked to the county, they said, well, you go talk to the Forest Service. And so between the two, I haven't gotten no results. You know?
This is the first time I've heard about it, not saying that you haven't said nothing.
Well, Blanche and I talked about it here a year ago, and she said, well, we can't do anything about it this year. Just after she got in to be a commissioner. She said, we can't do nothing this year, because there's snow up there, which there is. And so, now that was last year. So this summer, I got a hold of her this spring, I talked to her this summer, I talked to her once when we closed the roads down there on Gage, Kinsey's place. I was here at that meeting, that was what, about 3 months ago, or something, 2 months ago. I talked to her then, she came down there to check and see what was going on, and I talked to her then I called her once, and then I talked to her son Dave, he's on the road department, he's working the roads up there by Princeton. But he said, those guys, they say, they've never been past the bridge, so they didn't know what was going on. See, that's 6 miles from the bridge on up to my cabin, and that's right at the 4 mile marker.
We'll have to soon call them and have them look and see what, make sure. Right now, we're struggling to get stuff done with the Forest Service.
I can believe that, I can believe that. Yeah. Well, you know, here, 2 years ago was, I think that I got a hold of Paul and told him, I said, Paul, maybe you want to go up and check the bridge at Princeton. And he says, why? I said, well, there's a big tree that comes down the creek in high water and it's against it, blocking the whole road of the bridge off. Oh, I'll check it when I get a chance. about 4 days later, he called me up. Louis, he said, "Tommy said, I'm sure glad you told me about that tree. So that we're taking the bridge out of it with high water." So I don't know.
Yeah,
But I kind of want to get that doggone thing fixed if there's any possible chance.
yeah, if you wanna just hang out here, he should be coming in any minute. and we
Okay,
Make sure he knows about it, he can go up and look and give us what, we gotta figure out if it's, we don't have the money. And the Forest Service don't wanna really cooperate on working on this stuff.
well, I hear you there, but the thing of it is, my taxes went from $30 last year to $51 this year.
It's not us that's doing that, Louis.
Well,
the
it's on my
Department-
taxes. I mean, I don't know
It's
who
the-
does it, but,
Department of Revenue.
okay,
It's like these poor ladies over here are getting so much shit from everybody.
I'll
It's
bet
not
they are.
them. It's, they're doing their job and
they're trying to anyway,
It's not them that does it. It's the. You need to
Well, the
talk
thing
to
that is,
this.
reason why I thought it was you guys that was doing it, or the county here, is because they had charged me here for, what, 3 years ago? They was charging me 4 garbages. I'm a bachelor, I'm a single man, I live by myself,
You have 4 different properties.
yes, but there was
Well,
nothing on any of them, it
that's
was all
why-
bare open fields,
That's why they do it, because you have a tax number on each of them.
yeah,
That's
okay.
why it's.
Well, I come down and I,
That's all the way through. Everybody does. I do it too. I mean, I got, yeah.
okay, yeah, cause see, I got a 5.5 acre piece across the highway, and they didn't charge me on that one.
We must not got caught on that.
Yeah, I don't, it's not,
Should have been quiet.
but they had 2 of them on my cabin up in the mountains, and they had 2 of them on my home.
Did you talk to them up here?
Oh,
We got a new.
Oh, yeah, I got it taken care of, there's no problem with that,
Okay,
but that's the reason why I thought, cause I said the state wouldn't have set up 4 garbages on me. That'd have been done through the county
yeah. Here comes Paul. He'll be in a minute. Go ahead and sit down.
already.
We'll wait. Any other public comment?
I
Yeah,
don't think as much of anything else, just that I would certainly like to get that fixed. And I just was there to pay the taxes yesterday, and they told me, no, you gotta pay all of it. And I said, well, I'm not paying $53 or $51 for road maintenance that I've been doing since 1999.
that's the Department of Revenue. You
Yeah,
gotta take it
that's-
up with them.
Yeah, well, that
We
sounds
just,
like it
we
sounds-
just do the billing.
Okay,
Okay.
I talked to, what heck was her name, from the county, it used to be, oh, heck is it, or not this kind, but the state, Myrna.
She's for the state.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I talked to her about it, she said, well, no, we set a certain amount, and anything above that, there is all done by the county. Their mill levy and all that kind of stuff, so no, I'm getting mixed, information both on that way, I don't know.
Yeah, he'll be right in and we'll jump right into it.
Well, I've been the whole day, so it don't matter. But I would certainly like to get that, and I told him I would be glad to go fix it myself if I had something to do with it. I've worked construction all.
Well, worst thing we
my
did-
life.
Worst thing about it is, we gotta figure out whose it is and what, like, I mean, if we keep doing this stuff where they can step up if it's there.
Well, I didn't go this summer to the Forest Service, I did last summer, I spent 5 or 6 days time down there. And trying to go around and around, and the last time Miguel was supposed to be taking care of that was out there to, out by the Scalco out there at Moose Lake Fire Camp. And so she wasn't around, when she came back and she called me on the phone and we talked about on the phone, but they have never done nothing with it. So,
All right, yeah, we'll just wait for Paul and then we'll go over it. I see he's getting his papers.
yeah, good, I do.
Yeah, I just always thought that was Forest Service for some reason.
They said that was a county, I showed them on their map where it was at. It's, they got mile signs, on little goals, they got one right at the top of the flat. And they got number 2, is up there just before you go around where the Forest Service had gone in and cleaned all the trees out when they had the fire over in Finley. For whatever reason, they come in, they cut all that trees out of there, 100 feet, 200 feet back from the road.
Yeah,
And until they got too close to they got from here to the pickup from the creek and that was too close, so they quit.
morning, Blaine.
Morning.
He's in here on public comment wondering about a culvert that's coming out of the ground up Little Gold. so I'm waiting on Paul.
Oh, okay.
Can't figure out who this really is, cause I thought it was always Forest Service. They're telling me it's ours.
How far up is it?
The 4 mile marker. There's more signs on every
I
mile.
can't remember, it's, he said he'd been in here.
What road is it?
Little gold.
Little Gold.
He's been talking to
Okay.
Blanche about it, stuff.
Linda's not in yet. She was the one I'd wanna talk to. It should be in soon.
But I thought we should have Paul,
Yeah.
he's coming, he can run
Yeah.
and look at it, see what, he might talk to the Forest Service and I don't know.
Cameron will be in
The
today.
county supposedly went up. last-
Cameron will be in today.
I still.
Cameron will be in today too.
Oh. What time's he coming in
Is it 11?
at?
11:15.
I was gonna see.
How's it going?
Hello.
Howdy.
I love it when you bring me paper.
Any other public comment? Hey, now we're gonna jump right into the road thing. Louis in here, that culvert coming out of the ground up to Little Gold.
Yeah,
Is that ours or is that Forest Service?
And no, it's out of the road, but. You know, we talked about that last year, and we're gonna do something with it, we're gonna have to have the money to do it. And that's just the way it is. You know. Forest Service went out and they overhauled it last year. When Reynolds was working, took the Forest Service backhoe up there and. Did quite a bit of stuff to it. Yeah, well, they did all you could do to it with the materials there, put it that way.
they did the culvert, but they didn't do the road.
No, they just fixed it.
Right.
Over and stuff, but I mean. Here to fix that road. That's gonna take some money. You know,
The whole road?
well, just, I mean, it's so screwed up. It's a side by side trail, basically. You know, I mean. People, there's a lot of traffic on it for sure, but it's. To do something with it at all, you're gonna have to. Plan on putting some material. That's just all there is to it.
All the material washed down to the bottom, did it?
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing there.
Right down there in the brush.
And if a guy was gonna do something, just need to dedicate. 10 loads of gravel. For a few years to do a little bit of it at a time or something. I. That's completely up to you guys.
When the Forest Service made that big cut up there, you know, on both sides of the road going up, well, they had some kind of a deal, they told me they had I don't know what was, their program went as far as the Little Gold, I mean, to the cow camp turnoff.
Mhm.
And I was up there at that time and I asked them, I said, could you guys just slip around the corner here and fix that road over there? Cause they fixed the rest of the road in a real good shape. I mean, they did.
After they did that fire line stuff.
Yeah, and he says, well, he says, I can't do that without getting permission. And he said, I told him, well, who do I need to talk to? He said, well, he's not here today. He said, but I'll talk to him. And that was the last I heard of it. Nothing happened, nothing became of it at all.
Yeah,
And so they wouldn't even go around and fix that, glove that way. Cause that's where their thing was designated to go there. But the road up to that point, I've maintained. Well, the last 10, 15 years, I go up there with buckets all the time and fill gravel in all the holes or try to. I can't keep up with them four-wheelers, them things that are aggressive and the tires, and they go around the corner, they roll up rocks the size of grapefruit,
well, the better the road, the faster they go, and
That's
that's
exactly right. I agree with
whether it's a
that.
goddamn car or
I
a
agree with that.
Is there,
you know,
I definitely agree with you on that, Paul.
are there people that live up there? Are there cabins and stuff? Or what?
I'm the only one up there.
Alright.
I'm the only one up there, and that's right there by Bielenberg.
We'll look into it and see what we can come up with.
Well, I just keep paying taxes all the time on something I can't get nothing out of.
But all guy can do is look at it this spring and see what we come up with.
Does that mean that we started maintaining all the,
That was-
that's the problem.
I'm not asking you to maintain the road. I just want to get that one spot fixed is all, the only thing I have any thought on, the rest of the road. Yeah, it's getting rough, and four-wheelers tear it up, and I can live with that. But the thing of it is, that road above, Dave Harris and I went in there, we put rocks and filled that in, we built the road up on this side and back across it, up on the bank, up on the mountainside and back up over the top and over the culvert. Well, when they went up there last year, they covered the culvert up about that deep again, but now you go like this and whoop over top that culvert, because it's way out of the ground.
We'll just have to see what this next spring brings. Right now, we can't do nothing.
No, you couldn't do something right now anyway.
Done.
You couldn't do anything right now, anyway.
No, there's about 5-6 inches of snow up there right now. Oh,
Yes.
yeah, I was up there here last weekend, spent the weekend up there. But it's getting to the point now, you can't even climb up that road anymore, unless you got a snowmobile or a four-wheeler or something like that, because a bigger pickup or car can't make it anymore, it's too steep and it's too slick.
And I guess maybe after spring comes and we get all our regular stuff done, if we got some time, we could go. Spend a day or out there and do what you can do with the blade. Call it a day, you know.
So if there's anything I can do to help, I'm more than willing, 100% willing to go and do anything I can do. But I don't have no equipment to do anything with, and it's gonna take, you know, to be able to upload the gravel a minimum. You know, you get it acceptable.
Okay, well, we'll definitely find and see what we can come up with next spring there out there with any snow out of there now. What else you got for us?
Not much, just letting Mother Nature hit the roads and doing as much blading as a guy can. Got man, that's just about it.
Delineator thing looking good?
Yeah,
What?
Get the delineator thing?
Yeah, I think I saw them out there.
they are,
Yeah.
that's worth every penny of it.
Is it?
Bucker just, we're both in it. And they're in the ground,
Oh, good.
yeah,
Did you show them where to put the delineators out there or?
yeah. I'm going there as soon as I leave here.
Okay.
There's a lot of them to put in.
Every once in a while you get in a storm and you can't see nothing. I hit one of those last year. You know, everybody was waiting and I've driven the road so much that I kept going. Barely made it.
Well, they're supposed to start from the highway and go all the way in, so you can continually seeing it tighter on the corners kind of. Every 50 feet or so on the straight stretch, just like the highway does. Just have to, you know. So they're gonna start from there, go to the end of the pavement and back, and then gonna start it downhill and put some more on the outlet slope.
You don't need as many there.
No. It's just that goddamn wind. Up there, you can't see that road anywhere,
You know,
so you need a bunch on that top piece. Kind of like Vermanic driving New Chicago, fast quarries.
Brady, anything on the solid waste?
No. Slowing down.
Is there anything more I can say that make any difference? I think you guys give me some encouragement, at least, you know, for the time being, because
Yeah, we'll just have to wait till the spring, see what
Yes.
comes and get everything else done, and see how we're sitting.
now on I go up out and take a snowmobile anyway.
All right, well,
You
thank
might-
you for coming in.
Call me in the spring.
Okay. Yeah, I will. All right, well, thank you, guys.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank
I don't deal
Take care
there.
now.
Richard Robinson's coming in at 9:30.
Pretty good. He's going over Dunkelberg right now. Then he'll go up to the dump and then I'll send him down on that South Fairmount Road, I mean. And just a little bit of rock break and then just gonna work his way back and do some of the stuff you can hit a little harder due to the weather, you know. Quick question for Billy.
No.
Perfect. I like that answer.
Okay,
Yeah,
that
but
was
that's it.
We're saying,
Get
What?
So these guys are getting letters from the state on the driver's licenses now.
Okay,
And they're exactly the same thing basically as what they just signed,
okay.
so they shouldn't have to do anything with that, right?
No, they go in and so we're setting them up with Chemnet, so they go in and the guy just did their queries. So, and they can set up an online thing, but he's doing all their queries, so they're all set up. It's just us transitioning from the one company. to the
Discard
other
the
one.
letter they get, correct?
Yeah, if you wanna bring me one, I can give it to our people at Chemnet to make
Yes.
sure, cause I've never done any of this before
Yeah,
there.
it's pretty much the same damn thing, it just says
Okay,
that.
for the clearinghouse. Yeah, we're set up with Chemnet, they're doing our clearinghouse and. Yep, I've given Chemnet all of their information and. They're doing queries and.
So, Blanche had the question on if the non-union road crew members had to pay him the pension. And looking that up, they do have to, so that's required, so, yeah, they don't have to be part of the union, but they have to pay him the pension. That's, yeah,
Do they get it then?
yeah, I mean, they don't, yeah, so.
Hey, got anything else?
Echo.
Snow dropped already.
We got another 10 days of good, damn good weather again.
What's that?
We got another 10 days of pretty good weather by the looks of it.
Hmm.
That's okay. That's another day closer to spring.
That's what I was thinking yesterday.
These guys are praying for snow for water for Georgetown.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know
Don't
what
get too
happened?
much.
I'd like to fill the lake.
Is it cold at your house over the weekend?
Cold?
Yeah,
Not really.
no, it was 0 at my house.
Really?
Yeah,
What was it outside?
Zero.
Oh, he's brave.
I'll send you more paperwork.
Probably will anyway.
Probably coming anyway.
We'll go ahead and move on, Mr. Robinson's here, want to come on up?
Turn it on my heritage.
Oh.
Morning.
Speaking for Paul and me. Brown Christmas.
Yeah.
We took out
Uh,
white stuff.
As long as it's not raining,
Right.
Yeah.
raining at Christmas is.
I guess, we'll go ahead and jump into this right away and, if you get the stuff sent out to the people, to your.
Working on
Okay, well, we need to get that, cause
it. Should be first part of January. She's going with the bill. So every time we do a bill. So first month will come out, then November, well, probably this tomorrow. And then the next bunch goes out, or December cycle, so it'll be right into December.
But will everyone get notice before the end of the year? Is
Should
that-
be,
Okay.
or real close.
No,
what they
I
need to
can't
know.
speak for the mail.
no, yeah,
I guess that's our biggest worry is to make sure that everybody knows what's going on.
we did have the notice in the paper, did you see that?
Well, no.
But yeah, it was in there, yeah. One of the questions came up on people giving up all of their units and. So I heard the example of well, I went to the dump and John Kendall brought this up of Marty Sackman just buying the bus business and then he has his home business. If he's a customer of if the bus barn's a customer, then they give up. But my thinking would be they give up all their units, but that doesn't apply to his house.
No.
Yeah, so
No, it's just,
Yeah.
it's just the
just,
address.
yeah, that's,
You know, there are
That's
a
what-
few, and if they tell me, which I know most of them, that maybe have a common dumpster. And there might be. The landlord owns the, pays for the dumpster, but all their tenants bring their garbage from wherever is up in that dumpster. Which case, that would be multiple units, but they tell me, I know it exists, and I would tell Vicky. that, you know, this guy has a dumpster. And these are the properties that use that dumpster.
Is there a scenario though where someone owns a multiplex and only like, or the owner doesn't wanna pay for his?
Yeah, we have that.
So then they'd have
I'm assuming, let's go with that apartment up on the hill.
the 12-plex,
Yeah,
okay,
okay, so I might do 4 or 5 of those guys. But,
and the owner doesn't wanna give up those units,
I don't know.
cause if they didn't, then they'd have to be a potentially pay as they go deal.
Cause well, you know, basically the tenant pays me. And, you know, we get the address to Vicky, so I'm assuming that we would just take. It was, I'm assuming $12, probably 12 units. For that.
You have to work with Scott on that one, yeah, with
Well, just
Scott
go
Reddick,
for sake
but yeah, that's an example.
at 12 units, well, if I'm doing 3 of them, then 3 units would go on me and the other 9 would stay with.
That's reasonable so long as the notice gets to the county on who's, yeah. So we can keep track of them.
Cause we have, you know, in that case, the property management guy that manages that. Manages a lot of the other properties that we do garbage for, so he would be getting all the notices as well. As far as what.
From you,
Yeah,
I think that's one of our biggest things
Yeah.
is because these people are starting to ask questions and nobody's gotten nothing yet. The dump people are gonna get the whole.
Or people are saying you may lose customers. Do you think you're gonna lose customers on this co-op?
yeah, I will.
But you understand, I mean, that you asked for it and the county worked.
You
with
know,
you, we're trying to-
you know, we're in a bad situation, I mean, I'm at fault, you guys are at fault as well, because we just kind of keep shoving this thing under the rug. And, you know, I went through this, I don't know, 3-4 years ago, and I went with Vicky, and we went through my list, and we had to make sure the volume was up. Well, then, like she said, and I agreed, we need to do this every year, yeah.
We tried that with you, don't we?
But it's gotta be quarterly or it gets,
Yeah,
it has to
that's-
get shut
that's-
down,
that's the
per the
problem.
rules, yeah.
And then, you know, this county, in the part of the big hill, this county is growing, as you probably know. I mean. Businesses are everywhere, people are building everywhere, you know, my business has went up 25% in the last 2 years. And I'm not an administrator, and you know, I'll be the first one to admit that, you know, put me in a garbage truck, let me run work in the shop. The business end of it. And I hate it, and that's my, you know. So I'm at fault for getting you guys in this situation, and I'm gonna work with you to get you out. You know, we'll get the units up to where they're supposed to be and get where everybody's paying their share. I'll do what I can, you know.
Yeah, just sitting down with Scott quarterly
Yeah, yeah.
to get it, make sure we have the
Yeah,
numbers and their
yeah, and
customers.
that's what we're saying, you know, and I'm just asking Cheryl yesterday, I said, you got those new starts and stops, she said, I've been keeping track of those. And I said, when you gotta do it, he said, it's gotta be done quarterly, so I'm assuming, well, I don't know, I suppose we'll give you an update on January 1 or thereabouts. The new policy don't really kick in until January, but we'll update the list we gave you. I don't know,
Yeah, if you do it January, then
April, March.
yeah,
and then
in March, into March. Do you cover anyone in Anaconda, Deer Lodge County or Missoula County? You don't, okay.
That's
So
illegal.
okay,
I
it
cannot,
exceeds your permit.
I have just Granite County.
Okay.
It's illegal for me to operate outside the county.
Just wanted to make sure there's no confusion on that.
You know, the only, you know, it can be a little hard, you know, around the lake, cause the county line is. Whatever. And you start asking the people to follow you up at the lake, they walk over, are you in Granite County? Oh, yeah, we're in Granite County. You know.
Better double
Yeah, then
check
I
it,
get checking, I said, no, you're not in Granite County.
so.
I mean, I had a not a customer, guy called to complain because we weren't picking up his garbage, and he was getting a high rate, he called me every week, screaming and hollering at me. And Colin said, where are you? And he described, I said, you're not in my county. You're calling the wrong garbage service, you know, no, I'm not, and Colin, I go, yeah, you're Durlot County. So I wasn't happy with him because he was not a nice person. But that's, you know, we really try to
Is
know
there-
where those county lines are and keep them, you know, Beavertail, we're just starting in there, same thing. I got 6 customers in there and, you know, we verified they're all Granite County.
Yeah, that line zigzags in there.
I just wanna make sure the people understand, so it don't last minute, and it's gonna blow up, and then the people at the dump are gonna get.
Yeah,
Any way you can call them or something, or get something out before you do the billing, I mean, they need to know before the last minute.
especially the multi-unit people.
Yeah.
I think that's what you're, yeah, or the ranches that have multiple, but
When is Scott gonna get the list? Of who your customers are,
He's got it.
he's got 100%.
Well, he's got, not, there's been changes, I mean, we gave it to him, we put it into his computer.
He's still working to figure out who's what's a business compared to, you say, you're out there and then a bid.
that's why quarterly, because people moving in and out, it's moving
Well,
target.
Where I'm getting at that is. If the people at the dump don't know that exactly by January 1. And someone brings in all their garbage, which is gonna happen,
Mhm.
how the hell do they know?
Yeah, so it's gotta be updated as of January 1.
Scott was
Yeah.
going to add a column and maybe verify with that,
You should have it.
that he would mark all my customers. So when I go into the dump, it would. You know, they punch in that number or whatever they do, and that would show it's Granite Sports customer, then you're gonna be.
I knew he was trying to do something, either have a color on it or a.
I think that we'll have to come in and explain where he's sitting at with it too. I'm like you, after January 1st, it's.
Well, I didn't know how long it'd be at the dump when they pull in there.
To me, it always can be corrected after the fact too, because if they're. Keep track of it, then later they owe it, then they could be sent a bill later on, right? And that would. Happen
Yeah.
some anyway that
But if it's a pay as you go, I mean,
it should have to, yeah.
you know, and then if it's. Well, they're not really supposed to pay as they go, I just see a big shit storm coming. For the.
If you don't have the,
for the dump
yeah,
attendant.
for the dump attendant, need to have, dump attendants need to have the, yeah, the information.
It's gotta be, you know, just like you were saying on the computer, so when they hit that dump number. Boom, it says Granite Sports customer.
It's got.
Greetings, guys. Morning.
Guess we're trying to figure out all this before January 1st and see where you're sitting and see what he's brought you or what you need from him so we can move on, cause I'm afraid come January 1st.
Things aren't gonna happen. Do you have an updated customer list? Or what's the status? of
Yeah,
that?
I only got the one customer list that you sent Vicky.
Yeah, that was what,
3 months ago, 2 months ago.
that might have been. Yeah, there's not a whole lot of change, I guess what they're wanting to know is, when somebody comes up to the dump. If it's gonna be in their computer that shows them as my customer, so they know to charge.
Yeah, so I spent quite a few hours trying to update the dump system with your list. But prior to that, I had to take your list and look up all your customers to see if there's an XID number, because that didn't come with it. Going forward, I'd like you to provide that for me, so I'll have to.
I can try, but we used to do that. And I'd
I
ask,
have to do it. I'm
Could you-
Because that's the only way to tie the two
Yeah.
systems together.
what I wrote into, most of my you know, so many people call and say, I don't know.
Okay.
And we say, look at the tax bill, we don't know it. Or they're a renter, we don't have it.
Yeah, I understand that.
So, but I could try to have Cheryl get as many as she can.
Yeah.
But there's always gonna be a few that,
But to get back to your question. There's visibility on the dump system so that dump attendants can see, you know, a flag. You know, a notation that is a Granite disposal customer. So they'll know, and in fact, Jody said, what is all this red stuff and this granite disposal on a lot of these customers? And I said, well, that's just tying your system into hers, and she said, oh, okay.
So we brought up the example of Marty Sackman just bought the bus business in Missoula. If that business is a customer, that would take all of his units, but if he's got a private home and not a customer's private home, then that would be a dish, yeah, that would be not part of it.
Right.
Okay, so that's your understanding as well. Okay.
Well,
It'd be a responsibility of him to make sure he shows them the right card. I guess.
Yeah, well, yeah, they gotta have the right,
It's-
right card when it comes.
It's specific to the tax ID, so. For example, you might have a business, well, but you also have your home. That
Right.
business gets pickup, but your home doesn't, it's only the business, or vice versa,
Right, yeah,
It's not collective under, all this.
no, and that's just what we were talking about, just make sure that it wasn't for.
But that totally hinges on the information you're providing Scott, because he'll be relying upon that, so.
Just wanna get it in, cause I mean, we moved ahead on this, it's just. Wanna make sure everybody knows.
So if you're,
But there is some sticky points with, let's say, like, one of the apartment complexes is a fourplex. And one of the people, the renters, gets pickup, right? So does he sacrifice all 4 of his units, for pickup? And the other people don't. In fact, one of the persons, since that unit doesn't provide any kind of trash service, she came and bought a unit so she could dump. Because they don't provide that, so those 4 units, are they sacrificed because it's under one tax ID?
I think you would just take one unit to the one.
Well, how do you do that? From a dump standpoint, they don't know, that they've got their units and only one.
Yeah, I would, yeah.
I don't know, we can do that.
you couldn't put it in by break, cause it's one tax ID number, you
Right.
couldn't break it up to like A, B, C, and D
Well,
without.
how do you know, of those 4 units, how many people are, picking up, because it's the same address?
But that'd have to be his info, would have to be this tax ID number, apartment.
If he's picking
Apartment,
up,
whatever.
he'll give you that, yeah, if he's got one thing he's picking up.
I mean, there's only one line item on the dump site where you can put stuff that is different, and that kind of notation. There's no room for that.
It's a limitation in the software, you're saying?
Yeah, so, but generally, I mean, you got 750 units pickups, right? But if you collect all the dump per those sites, where you're picking up, there's 900 dump units that you're gonna absorb. So, because some of them are dumpsters, big dumpsters, which is 3 or 4 units, right? And some are just trash cans, so there's.
How many like situations are like that though? I mean, is that like an isolated event, or is there 10?
Well,
situations
I
like
mean,
that,
if you
or-
go to the Rocking J Ranch, right, they have 65 units, you can absorb all of those.
I do all of them.
Yeah,
They're
so,
all mine.
So that, there's a lot of variables in there. So I don't know. And right now, I did a query on the dump system and your list. And there's about 25% of the people get your pickup, and they also go to the dump.
so those would be
And do
pay as you go.
And that's why we're trying to make sure
Yeah.
he gets everything out to it.
So what does a pay as it go cost? Is that gonna be a proportion of a 1 unit, or is it gonna be 20 cents? or-
They can-
20 cents.
Well, they can, under the rules, they could buy a unit, probably encouraging those folks. Yeah,
Be
to-
20 cents, cause it's gotta
Yeah.
be on what pay as they go, and then it's up to him.
yeah, but they could buy that unit at the
Yeah.
same price, right?
Well, no, actually, the unit price is $135, and you see that on your taxes, right?
Yes,
And that comes out to be 6.75 cents per pound, not 20 cents. So,
Isn't the,
But I thought if they haul in with more. That would change.
but if you're just out of district or something, or just swinging by, dropping off your camp stuff, it's 20 cents.
Hey, sorry to interrupt. Jim, piled up one of your trucks in Elko Pass, he's okay. Rick White was been trying to get a hold of you, I guess.
Oh. And then go. Keep an eye on the police.
Yeah, all right, you know.
it's 20 cents pay as you go, but people can come in and buy the unit, right? I'm trying to think of the, yeah, you can pay the base rate for whole unit the same as set account holders for 2,000 pounds. Or the 20 cents a pound as they go,
It's all in the policy.
yeah. Page 16 or 6.
Can they buy that unit when they walk in at the dump, or that's going?
Have to come up here, then I process it into the system, give them a dump card. They can use that card immediately, and they start accruing their totals. But if you buy a dump card, you get 2,000 pounds at a rate of, 6.75 cents, and let's say 7 cents. And then that's a better way to go if you're gonna use that 2,000 pounds, but if you're just gonna go onesie twosie, then the 20 cents a pound. Makes more sense to people, that's, they're not that frequent. But I'm not sure what the customer base is, what's their thought on have to pay if they already have it on their property taxes. Yeah. They have to forfeit. Has there been any feedback on that?
He said he might lose some.
Yeah, I said, you're running the number of 25%. I probably will lose 20%. Because they don't wanna pay me and pay for myself. Hard to say, I don't know what they're hauling in, that's.
But I bet you,
If they were just remodeling, hauling and roofing, I can't handle that, so. Yeah, I'll go to the dump.
I would think a lot of those 25% would have multiple tax ID numbers, so I think those people would stay with you, I'd assume, but you never know.
But
But if you're losing customer and wanna go to the, different alternative, then that.
Alright, well, I mean, we just keep beating it and beating it, I think one of the main thing was we get so the people understand what's going on.
I'll get with Cheryl and see if she can just get everything mailed out.
Man, I
I mean,
could
what-
save a big thing on the people coming here January, right? That's
Yeah.
why we started on this.
I
and
mean,
you gotta
I
keep
mean,
up
I mean,
this.
we look at the postage and we're looking at what, $500 postage just to get them out. So that's,
I know business sucks. Owning your own stuff, there's always cost, but if they don't know, then
yeah.
it's gonna be worse.
Yeah. If I bought 10 units. Random number. And would that be available to some of my customers who did come into the dump then and I tell them, go ahead and haul it, put it on my units.
Yeah, that's the
That'd be-
pay as you go option,
That'd be
yeah.
your contract
Yeah.
with them, I mean, but he
Yeah.
has to know.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, if you come in and bought 10 units, yeah, you can.
Then, if those people were totally on that pay as you go, then you wouldn't give their information as your customer, because you're not dumping there.
So I just look at, the 20 cents a pound thing, it's $400 a ton. That's big. Versus the $135 a ton for the unit. And, I understand, part of that, we went into that idea of just get these contractors who are not county people. Who are dumping mega load. So with that. But now we're penalizing the residents who basically have paid a fee for the site. Plus now they're gonna have to get hammered that 20 cents. Seems excessive. You know.
But you talked about how they're, basically everyone's using up those units already, so it was double. There was some, this is eliminating the double dipping. And what I wanna clarify what I said earlier about not giving them as your customer. They wouldn't be they won't be a member of the co-op, so so they would not be a member of the co-op, so you wouldn't give their information to the county as a member of the co-op.
Alrighty, well,
Okay, I'll get on that. I'll get that mailed out.
get it done, please, and beg, and just if we need to let these people know.
Yeah, so
So, I just wanted to say there's about 100 customers. Kind of a hole that I have that don't have tax IDs. Your addresses. And, but of the 660, I think, customers, I've got them all into the dump system, so there's visibility as people roll into the dump. You know, the attendants can see that there's that they are Granite County, Granite disposal customers.
And those are some that doesn't get figured out, you do the pay as you go, is that what you're thinking, or?
yeah, well, you know, I'm gonna say I just got a customer started. And so I go up there and look at it. Well, they don't have a house. They're building a house, so the reason I'm going with the idea that they don't get charged a dump fee until the house is. Or whatever the state tells them, Vicky adds it, however that works. So I looked at that one, so I told Cheryl, we'll charge them 35, because we're gonna pay a dump fee on these people.
Yeah.
So that would be your, they know that's their agreement with you,
Yeah.
so,
That's what I was saying, get
Yeah.
everything out to these people.
yeah.
Paper trail, right,
Yeah.
paper trail.
I just told you, I'm not an
I
administrator.
don't care, I mean, we fought for
And
this for
But that
years.
way they won't be upset with the county, they'll know that you have your contract with them and
Well, and that's, people don't like change, so it's gonna be. they're
You
gonna be
don't like
upset.
it.
yeah, you're right, people are traditionalists and changes.
Alright, well, we better get moving on.
You know what I mean, that?
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. I'll
Please
get on
keep
that.
it, hey Rick, please keep in contact with him so we can get this, keep this stuff
Yep.
moving, please.
Thank you.
Alrighty. Well, we're going to the dam tenders report. Here, we got an update on Todd Blight. We're sitting at 642903, 5.64.
Still going up.
Where's it coming from?
I don't know, I.
Springs?
How full Silver Lake?
This summer it looked like it was down, but maybe it's up
Like
right now.
Right now.
Yeah.
I think
I think you're getting overflow.
Well, I'm just kind of wondering if something coming back now, because I know they shut down doing a bunch of work over there, so now is that kind of what we're getting?
With all the snow melt there, it probably did raise the level of silver. I wonder if they have that online. Never seen it. If that's a good theory.
So according to Todd, just, you know, there's a little more coming in. Than we're letting out.
Yeah. But I think we better,
Hang in there.
I
The weather
think-
report is,
I
Yeah,
think
there's
we
no
better,
snow on it.
my opinion, stay as is right now, it's like I said, the way this is, we got 10 days or longer before we even see moisture.
Do you see Todd Blythe report? So he's showing, I think, as is, based on normal precipitation, I think 50 CFS coming in May.
how can you predict it?
It's just based on normal, because that's what the forecast is for normal precipitation, but you're right, it's best guess. Is that the latest one? Yeah, so you're right,
It says snowpack currently is at 0.8 inches, which is 38% of normal for the end of November.
Yeah, they did not.
The warm spring snowfall site, which gives
Yeah.
an idea of the higher elevations.
Yeah, you-
2.6, which is 76% of normal and 60% for November.
he's basing that 50 CFS inflows in May just based on normal precipitation, which is what the forecast is.
But
Yeah,
for
it's
an
a,
extreme El Nino,
yeah,
we're not gonna have. no-
yeah.
That kind of looks like what I heard before with that El Nino, it'll put a blocking high right here. And they will go south and north, and that's why they'll get more moisture
Yeah.
like they're doing right now, because it'll go around us and come back down into
Oh, it
the
wasn't ours.
Midwest and then the East Coast.
Look at that Kansas State, Ohio State game. They were playing in the snow and there was a lot of snow coming down there.
So what do you think?
They're saying,
I'll make the motion.
my motion is stay the same.
I'll second it. Public comment? Being none, all in favor? Like, aye, motion carried back, stay the same.
You go off,
Yeah, we go off quick, Billy,
say you have a private personnel now.
private personnel.
You are now.
Just to make it clear, it's nothing to do with the county, the personal thing, that's why. So we're not good.
Or when the sheriff came in, that
Yeah.
wasn't a county matter.
It's nothing to do with the county. All right, so, we're not. Randy Moss.
He's in talking to the treasurer's office.
I'm just worried about this dumb thing that, I mean, we're just begging to get this notification out to these people so they understand, so the workers
Well-
really get informed.
When people have questions, they should be deferred back to him then. Cause there is his customer. I mean,
And I think on some of that stuff, I guess Scott should come in here, so we're all on the same page.
one of the issues is the software limitation, but that's kind of the exception. That could even be, kept on a separate like spreadsheet or something, so I really think that's it's a real exception to the rule.
I guess if they ask on a recently added solid waste discussion decision, we didn't really make a decision, we're just saying that. Please notify your customers.
I think our clarifications on the rules should be in there. I'll help Billy with that, cause.
Okay,
Make sure
I
it's
saw
clear.
that on the thing, it wasn't counting. What's that? I can't hear whispers anymore. You. Plugging away. Yeah, we got one in jail that's like 6. That's a pain.
Yeah, what?
One of the prisoners being a pain, but other.
They're coming to get him?
Yeah.
Alright, good. He's the man that's going to the big house.
Later, they will get out there, talk to you. Yeah, I'll be around. I'll be around. I can call you up today, we got some other pictures and stuff. Somebody's getting. Sold it out, sold it out. Right. Close to 250 gallons. I decided, I put up. I put. It's that very like. Yeah. It'd be nice for someone that would go out there and eat occasionally. A lot of stuff going on in the town, it wasn't. Yeah. Not without much.
Was the gate unlocked on Upper Moki or? Okay,
seen it for my cell phone.
okay.
That's fine, he was headed up there to make sure.
I got another one of those calls yesterday, and I said, you know what? Talk to an attorney or a district judge, I am not wasting my time on easements.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna.
Taking up all your time.
You got an easement problem, don't even call the sheriff, because I'm not gonna get involved.
When you buy a,
Start swinging at each other, I'll get involved, other than that, just leave it alone, so.
So swing first.
How are you?
morning,
Doing good. Only 3 feet of snow at Beaver Tail. Yeah.
Chuck's theory's right, it's around us.
All righty, well, we'll go ahead with the auditor, Don Davis, give us a present of the end of the year. Looks an audit report.
Go up there.
Yeah, you see it.
Yeah, I want to see it.
Wow. Should we put chair in front of him?
This would be fun. Oh, man, that'd be important. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, Blanche sat in on the exit conference with everybody. We went through a bunch of small things that need to be fixed and whatever, and got that all taken care of. The audit report's clean. It's a good report. They call it unmodified, which for who knows why they came up with that. If you have a modified report, you have bad report. Yes, unmodified. The federal compliance came out clean and the compliance as part of the financial audit, I have to do compliance work to see if there's any items that would cause a material mistake in financials. Like if you screwed up your tax levies or something, but we didn't find anything like that. The one finding was, which I wrote up as basically a political statement, is all that federal money caused late audits, and they're still being late. I talked to the people over at the state, and they're still getting late audits in just like mine. I mean, it's across the board, so it'll get better next year. I'm gonna be shut down my practice on June 30th, so I have to have yours done by then.
You were doing what?
Shutting my practice down from 69 and a half.
What the hell?
You don't look it, you don't look it. We thought you were going for another 10.
I might,
You said you'd do it as long as I stayed here.
yeah, well, get out of here. I might work with him.
You do a good job.
I enjoy working with everybody. It's a good crew. I'm nervous about a new treasurer because it's a big job. And it's complicated and there are lots of pieces and parts to it. And hopefully you'll find somebody that's good and they can learn quickly. But that's a major position here in this county. And speaking of that, when your study commission comes open, your 10-year or 5-year?
In here,
10-year, where you look at the form of government and stuff. I would recommend going nonpartisan for these offices because they don't have anything to do with political parties. And you tend to get people a little more willing to step up and run good position for the position. So anyway, I had one county over on the east side that did it, and they had really, it's gone really well. So I would recommend you think about that here. And let's see what else. Vicki promised me that she was going to get her taxes to general ledger cleaned up before use. So now this all those very old minor taxes receivable items that are just sitting on the ledger that need to be cleaned up so the books are clean for the next person. I'm really glad to see that you guys have been looking at the gravel hauling, sourcing the optics of that are bad. Just because you're a small county and people are close to it. And so I'm glad you're looking at that. I've always wondered if there was something I needed to report on that, but I couldn't see anything, but. You know, it just would be cleaner. So, and glad to see some of your lawsuits are settled. And so we really didn't have to report anything on that, but you know, it's quite a challenge. And I guess I can raise the fee for next year because you got all that LATCF money, huh?
No.
Oh,
Why do you need a raise? You're quitting.
well, that's right, you're under contract. Anyway, I thought I'd try. I need to see what you can do with all that funding, it'll be great. But not every county got them, it was big for you guys.
Really weird.
Yeah, having a clean audit is very good and says a lot about the staff here working hard and thank Wayne for writing a response and being here during the exit. It helps.
Thanks for your help.
Not all county treasurer or county attorneys are so involved. You know, it's good to see that because this such a litigious, I hate that word, society that it's
Do we make a motion on this and accept it then on the finding of that?
all vote yes.
Huh?
I'll vote.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Couldn't remember,
Yeah.
so.
I'll make a motion to accept the audit.
Now, second, it, public comment? Being none, all in favor?
Aye.
Blanche sat on it and she said it's good. Yeah. I mean, I just can't.
Yeah. Yeah, she
But
did.
mention that she went over,
Yeah, and she's got, well, I sent copies up.
yeah, it's laying right there.
Did you want to read it? Can you read?
He's mad the podcast lost.
Next time we see Robbie, I'm she was serious about it,
Yeah,
pretty sad. Oh, well, thank you, and we'll be seeing you much sooner.
I appreciate all the work you do and you do a good job. Thank you so much. So,
Well,
been fun working with you.
it's good to have people I know up here that, you know, do a good job. Yeah, Billy wasn't here for the exit, I missed her.
uh-oh.
She-
Did I say on the paper?
Did you
Yeah.
say what? Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I thank you very much.
Yeah.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you, sir. You have a good one.
But
Yep. Yeah. Y'all have a good holiday.
Always good to see you. Yeah, have
You
a
too.
good holiday, drive
thanks.
safe.
Yeah,
Take care.
see ya, take care. Yeah.
Take care. Who's got the best handshake? I don't know.
By the sheriff. Yeah,
Take care.
yeah, have a
See
good
ya.
one.
Thank you. Well, we got a
Don't
little
get down
bit,
with that, I'm not reading.
before the coast comes in, we got a little bit. Do you guys need anything? You need a little bit?
Just fine. Yeah, I need a pickup, still can't get one of them, but
I was gonna ask you.
I got the money set aside for it, but
Did you order one or is it just?
it's there.
It's there.
Just waiting for them to build it.
Oh.
How long out?
They can't give me a direct answer on that. About ready to do something different.
Yeah, that's frustrating.
If it,
Yeah.
we haven't bought the pickup yet. If I'd already had the pickup, I'd probably just take it elsewhere, but I don't have that option right now, so. Yeah. But that new one, the Rico got, it's a, boy, what a nice truck.
Is it?
Yeah. Yeah, it's set up really nice.
And you gave it to Rico?
It's a Ford.
What's that?
Yeah, if I'd have known you could start it with your phone and then.
Would've kept
everything,
it.
I'd have told him, I'm gonna take it.
That's an oxymoron, real nice and forward.
Right. Yeah.
Well, if there's anything that's no.
I just want to listen to the animal stuff. Okay.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and that.
Sarah was gonna, from Coast to Coast is gonna be on Zoom. I
On
think.
Zoom, yes. She had asked me for the link yesterday and I
guys with
sent
them?
it. No, they're your next one.
Morning.
Good morning.
Alrighty, well, we're about a couple minutes ahead, so we can go ahead and see if, are they on yet?
No,
So I can
Yeah.
explain what's going on. So they, Coast to Coast, presented an agreement to be, for like a 90-day agreement that would then continue on for a 3-year one. They would be, under that, there would be primary in Phillipsburg, supplement, and Drummond area. I guess the way I said, we had some comments to them that we wanted the right of first refusal to be with some conditions that dispatchers follow best practices if there's someone else, life flights needed or someone else closer. So we need to add that language. There's some insurance language I wanted to put in there, the minimums of what they're supposed, what we generally require. There was,
I
I'm
just
thinking
wanted to
that,
make sure we didn't nail dispatchers down in an emergency, doing the right, breaching a contract by calling Lifeline or somebody else that they typically normally do in those kind of calls. I just don't want to make sure we want to nail down in a contract that way is all.
so
I'm glad they're here. We want it.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll take all the extra help we can get, absolutely, and we'll work with them however we can, but.
So Sarah Morris and Jason Villa were gonna meet with me next Monday, so we can talk about post changes. My thought is that we don't even worry about like this first 90-day deal. I think that should be like a handshake deal to see how it works out. Where they show their insurance and everything, insurance requirements, but just see how it works out after 90 days, and then if that works out, then do a multi-year contract. The other issue is we don't know, haven't heard back from Drummond ambulance still meeting, so probably want to wait and, on any type binding contract before.
Yeah, Frank, I talked to Frank yesterday, and he was gonna try to get on, he's working today.
Monica's iPhone just clicked on.
Huh?
Monica's iPhone just clicked on. I don't know if that's
Okay.
Frank and
And-
Monica.
I'll let her speak
Yeah.
for him.
I think Drummond should have time to meet and talk about it.
Oh, yeah, there's quite a few questions Frank had that, they just wants to know, cause they just don't wanna get, all of a sudden somebody goes again, and then they get bumped or whatever, and then they're about ready to say hell with you.
Yeah.
I mean, we're doing good now, I mean, it's action, so I guess I can let Monica speak, or that might be Frankie.
I think it might be both of them. They
Yeah,
have,
there he is.
and they can mute and unmute. They just have to click the button.
Okay, Frank, if you go ahead.
Yeah, we just joined, so I don't know where are we at here?
I'll let Blaine explain a couple of things, but nothing yet.
So yeah,
Okay.
nothing's been agreed upon. It's still just initial talks. Sarah Morris from Coast to Coast presented a proposed agreement with Granite County that would be for 90 days and then transition to a 3-year agreement. It would be primary in Phillipsburg, supplement in Drummond. We had some issues with the language on the right of first refusal, that it needs to be best practices there if life flight's needed first. The other issue, I mean, the county's not committing anything for Drummond yet, so my idea is just to do a potentially a handshake agreement for 90 days to see how it works out with Phillipsburg. Then make sure they have their insurance and everything in place, but then see how it works out after that, and then look at a more formal contract. But as far as Drummond, I understand you guys want to meet as a group and talk about what your needs are.
Okay, so I guess where we're sitting at right now, we have ample people and seem to be, I mean, I can just about if we're getting all the calls, I can count on one hand how many we've missed. And obviously we have done more than that, responded to more than that. So I guess we're kind of feeling we're doing a fair job down here. I don't know what the public thinks about it. I mean, sometimes I think maybe the public, if we could put it out there a little bit to them of something, you know, what they want, whether versus another service come in or leave the volunteers or how that should go. As far as this coast to coast thing, has anybody, I can't find them on the internet. So I don't even know their credentials and stuff like that. So I mean, I'd hate to see the county jump into something that is not really a viable company. I mean, I'm not saying they aren't, but I can't.
Well,
I think they'll have to be, you know, checking.
Well, that was part of your language was the licensure and I mean, the 90-day agreement.
yeah, I mean, is he still on?
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm on.
Oh, there we go.
So, I mean, they are a credible business. They just gotta make sure they have their licenses and the insurance in place, but that's also the 3-month deal to see how it works out. I mean, it's kind of a, I wouldn't say a test, but if it doesn't work out after the three months, and Phillipsburg probably won't be interested in using them, and you guys wouldn't be either.
And
Right. So I think there's a need for it for the hospital. I mean, we've been asked a couple times for some transfers and we've tried to accommodate. And then, I mean, one just off the top of my head recently, and then they ended up the people that needed it, they just did it themselves. But I mean, we were available for it and whatnot, but that's where I think it really needs somebody but I thought the hospital was going to kind of have Phillipsburg be their transfer type of deal, but then and take over the ambulance up there. So if they took that over, should have staff there to take it over.
Well,
So
Coast right now has an
I
agreement
mean,
with the medical center to do the non-emergency transports.
right. So if that's the case, then shouldn't the hospital board, shouldn't they approach just the hospital board, not the commissioners for that?
Well, oh yeah, that they have their own separate agreement with the Granite County Medical Center, and that's already signed. Their proposed agreement for county is for EMS, for emergency transport, and Robert Littlejohn was
Just for the south.
Yeah. Yeah, just for or on transports or EMS.
Emergency response within Phillipsburg area.
Well, their proposed agreement was supplement to on the
If we
on
can
the,
get
yeah, and
Phillipsburg
Drummond,
in
yeah.
response.
Yeah.
Okay, so we would be priority and then they would supplement, correct? That's what you're saying?
That's what
That's
what their proposal came up with, but there's nothing's been agreed to at all. I mean, it's just a proposal.
That was Eagles deal too.
Okay, so that happened once before, obviously, and it didn't really work out that way. So I guess kind of got rubbed the wrong way a little bit when all this happened a couple years ago and whatnot. So I hate to speak for everybody on the service, but we have discussed this to some length, and I mean, we did our best to try to keep all the ambulances and the licenses up and everything when the other entity was here, and comes again. We're really kind of thinking about just shutting it all down if we get shoved in the second and third place again. So I guess it really needs to be looked at that the coast to coast needs to have communication with us, and we need a better understanding between the two on kind of how we can all work together and make it work for the whole county.
And dispatch better dispatch us.
That's exactly exactly. I think. I mean, that's
we don't, they're not even on, Frank.
Did I get cut off?
No, we heard you.
Hello,
Oh,
We can hear you.
hello?
Let's look at it here else.
It keeps saying on unstable.
Oh,
What's,
our internet or his, cause
It
sometimes
might be
our
ours,
internet's
yeah.
unstable
Hello?
here.
Hello. Yeah, we can hear you.
do you? I don't see her on, but I have.
did I
a
get cut off?
Phone number for
Hello?
her.
Now we can hear you,
It
you
doesn't
can't hear
match
us.
the email
Yeah,
I
we
have.
could call.
They have a phone number, last 3 or 471.
It's not.
As far as on paper.
This is her.
No, not Monica's on,
They'll be
Sarah.
here.
Oh, sorry.
Hello?
We can hear
Did-
you.
Oh, okay, okay, all right.
Put them on speaker.
What the hell? Good, good stuff.
Nothing here, but no, we want you as the main ones, and then this was just a supplement.
oh, that is her.
Yeah.
And
Okay,
Go ahead and
So-
put her.
okay.
So
You want me to put you on my speaker?
they are on.
Oh,
No, I,
That's Frank. So we did,
I still
Frank,
can't.
I don't know if you heard me, I just said I agreed with what you said.
still can't hear you.
I shut it off.
Oh,
I thought she
He
said
can't,
earlier.
he can't hear us.
What I missed.
Convenient.
Anyway, we're agreeing with what you're saying, and calling back.
Yeah, maybe get them on there because they're feeling like they've been.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, now you're on speaker on my phone, Frank, and what,
Oh.
Blaine was saying, he agrees that with what you're saying.
Okay, okay.
Have them mute themselves on Zoom, so we just hear them on the
Oh, yeah.
phone.
You understand that?
Yeah, yeah. So, but I mean, you guys aren't gonna, are they gonna do this? Are you gonna sign this 90-degree thing right away, 90-day deal right away, or?
No, my advice is to,
I think,
let's, yeah,
I think there's a lot of questions yet to be answered, and I think like you were talking yesterday about, the public needs to know what's going on too. And maybe have a meeting, have it on the agenda. I don't wanna sign on here, we don't even know nothing, they're not even on today and that's.
They are. She's
Now they
waiting
are.
to talk.
it's on Zoom.
Okay, well,
I guess they're on Zoom, sorry, Frank, I can't tell what the hell that thing is.
that's okay, I just, if somebody would reach out to me. I mean, I'd like to have a talk with them and we could discuss different things, So if somebody would wanna do that, that'd be great. Go ahead and just give them my information.
Okay, yeah, that'd be,
Number's the best. And
then you can just go, instead of being in the mid, you can go straight at them and ask them what and you guys can talk a little before anything even comes to us.
Right. Okay,
All right, well, thank you.
But-
that works for me then.
All right, have a safe day, Frank.
You too, thank you guys.
One clarification, Frank, is even though we don't have a signed agreement with them, they may be helping in the Phillipsburg area once they get, depending. So, but it won't bind Drummond.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, as long as we kind of keep in the loop
Yeah.
and know what's going on.
And I'll keep you posted, we'll make sure that you're notified and we'll give your info to them and then you wanna sit down with them some here soon and then just go from there and then if we hear anything, I'll be on the same page.
Okay, all right, sounds good.
All right, thanks.
You bet, bye.
Any other comments on this?
But I think Sarah Morris is on from coast to coast.
See, that's a problem, you don't know who the hell's on there. I mean, without them putting their name that way instead, you don't know. Who's Josh?
NBC Montana.
Do you guys have anything to say?
Can anyone hear me?
Yes, we hear you.
Okay, you do hear me. Okay, sorry, I wasn't sure if I was muted or not. The Zoom thing is hard for me to figure out as well. Well, just, I heard, part of that about Drummond just not, having hesitancy and all of that. I would just like to say, if we're gonna cause problems, we don't have to come up at all, because this is money out of our pocket that we're willing to spend to be able to help. And then the hospital is on a whole separate note. But that's more just for the county. But if we're gonna come in and cause waves, we don't have to come in at all. So I just want to throw that out there because we're getting ready to leave tomorrow to physically be there with all of our equipment. So if anyone's having hesitancy or doesn't want to, join forces or that kind of sense, then we'll, slow down and not come. And maybe, if we need another couple weeks to figure it out with them, then we can, or if it's a no altogether, that's fine too. But I just wanted to be able to say that.
I think just everybody wants to be on the same page, just because a lot of people weren't notified and they're just now, they're trying to figure out what's going on, and if we give you Frank, you can call him.
But there's no hesitancy from the Phillipsburg ambulance at all there, that Robert Littlejohn wants you here. This is
Right.
that's what he said, and I've talked numerous times with him.
So I just keep your plan going as you're done.
Okay.
The way my advice to the commission is to do basically a handshake deal on Phillipsburg area for the first 90 days and see how it works out. If you have all your licenses and insurance in place, and I don't want to speak for the commission, but the Phillipsburg ambulance wanted you to come help them.
Yeah,
So we're in agreement on that.
Okay.
So anything else?
We're gonna meet next Monday, Sarah?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes, I'll be there Monday. So we should be in person Friday, but I'll come by your office wherever you like to meet on Monday.
Yeah, my office sounds good. Second floor of the courthouse.
Okay.
All right. Any other public comment on this?
It's gonna make, I'll get with Frank and all the other leaders and services, that's gonna make paging real fun. Not gonna have my dispatchers sending multiple pages on emergency situation. So I'll just say that. I'll get with Frank and Little John and see what the best, come up with the best thing, how we page, and maybe we should just put everybody, Seaberg and Drummond and everybody all on one page. I don't know. So, I do know that I'm not gonna expect my dispatchers to spend out 2 or 3 pages in an emergency. They don't have time for that. Yes.
Sounds good. Alrighty. I guess we'll move on. No other public comment on that? Alrighty. We'll move on to the next one, Keith Miller and Ryan Frey on Upslope Group to explain tiny home RV park project proposal on the DNRC property near Riddick Field Airport. This is all just a discussion. Come up, state the name, what you do.
Sit here?
Yeah.
Okay, let me share. It's on a handout. Thanks.
Yeah. Would you guys state your name and that for the record, please?
Yeah, I'm Ryan Fry. I'm Keith Miller. So we have little notes, I'll just kind of explain our ideas, but just want to make sure that we understand this is just a preliminary meeting. We don't have a subdivision proposal or anything. We're just kind of testing the waters here about this project and like to explain to everybody what our vision is. We've talked to the city of Phillipsburg and some community members, but this is in the county, so ultimately it would come before you guys here to do so. What we're looking at is to do a tiny home, manufactured housing, maybe RV stuff in the parcel
next to the DNRC parcel next to the airport that was an old gravel pit here. So I've been a builder a long time here, over 20 years in Missoula County. And I've just seen the cost to stick build a house has gotten, it's got unfeasible anywhere in Montana in general or anything. So, you know, I just looked at what our square footage price here, and I bet it's not too much different here in this area. You know, we're looking at, you know, close to $275 a square foot, which is putting housing at $500,000 entry level at least. And to me, that's not entry level housing. So I started looking into some other ways, and I really believe this is kind of where we're going to have to go. Is kind of be this kind of more factory built style of houses. And I just want to put it in perspective that I don't know if everybody's been in some new manufactured housing. It's not the manufactured housing that was in the 70s. It's not the wood clad side or the wood paneling and the, you know, metal siding. They do look like homes and sheetrock and everything like that. So I started looking at this idea, and you know, with Keith and I, and you know, the idea to put, you know, housing that people, you know, can afford essentially. So we landed on this manufactured model, and you know, tiny homes fall into that. They're just a smaller version of it. And RV parks, depending on if there's a need, you know, here or not, we haven't really dug into the RV model too much. So our goal is really to create workforce housing in the Phillipsburg community. You know, and kind of going on that stuff. So the parcel there, and I don't know how familiar you guys are. I know that Brian has spoken to you from the DNRC, but the DNRC parcels, you know, they're for lease parcels, and all of the lease money goes into the school trust fund, the state school trust fund. So, and they have a mandate to, you know, kind of find its best use with their commercial parcels. Because I mean, obviously they're trying to get the most dollars as well into the school fund. So you do an appraisal, and then you pay a percentage of that appraisal every year for the right to lease that land, and all of that lease fee goes to the school trust fund at a state level. I'm sure Keith can speak a little bit more on that.
Yeah, it was basically 6% of all the land. Once we got statehood in 1889, Congress set aside 6% of all the land in the state specifically for leasing to generate funds for funding essentially K-12. A little bit goes to the colleges these days. And so it's like, I think what's so cool about, you know, about this parcel is that, like, you know, if we're able to build a community like this, as soon as it's built, the number one expense is going to be a big yearly check that goes directly into Montana public schools. And at the same time creating workforce housing in the community. So I think that's what gets me excited about a project like this.
So the site itself, I'm sure you're familiar, is an old gravel pit. Can't do much with the pit itself. It's just cost prohibitive to fill that in, but there's land around the pit that we feel is usable. And so, you know, as this is happening, the airport, we figured out the airport has been looking at some expansion stuff.
Yeah, I'm glad Donovan Jones is here on Zoom actually.
Oh, gotcha.
Which is great.
So we actually haven't talked to Donovan. We'll try to make that. No, we can make a connection there.
Yeah, I want to get his contact information after this, because you know we've been, you know, I don't actually think there's any conflict between us and the airport, because most of the land they want is land that isn't able to really be built on because it's at the bottom of an old gravel pit anyway. And so I think there's certainly a win-win scenario between us and the airport that, you know, both groups get what they want basically.
Yeah, from what we've seen, it looks like the airport, and I don't know, we'll sit down and talk and see what the plans are. But it looked like they were looking for an access road and an expansion on the western side of the parcel, and really what we're looking at is the eastern side of the parcel. So I just like to say there's room to work together, and I think there's room for both parties to have a successful projects around that. So our real goal is really to just build a community manufactured homes and allow for workforce housing in this thing, and our projected rents for, you know, let's say a 1 to 2 bedroom house, and a lot rent is about $1,400, so, I think that's pretty reasonable compared to what you know, out for elsewhere. But that's kind of, I mean, you wanna follow up with anything? Yeah, it's mainly just kind of wanted to answer any questions that you guys had, or bring the idea to you as we kind of wander around the community and talk to different people.
So how many houses would this be?
I think it's 60 to 70. Which we've heard is about the need for Phillipsburg.
Yeah, the phase one would be 30 to 35. And then, you know, if there's continued demand, then we do a phase two that's a bit larger.
How many acres is that?
Just 25 total, although some of that is being taken up by the airport basically already.
Plus the trail.
Yes, and we absolutely think the trail is an asset. We're gonna keep that.
We have,
Yeah, absolutely.
there's no whether yay or nay. that
Yeah.
has to stay.
Yeah, for sure.
I already talked to Brad.
Yep.
So wouldn't there be conflict between the people using the trail and people living there?
I don't think so. I mean, that gravel pit is almost like, think of it as almost like a lake there. I think you can still ring it. We may need to move the trail, and we've talked to the mayor about that, and everybody's okay with that. But I think it still could be a circular loop, and we could design the lots not to allow for the trail.
I know a lot of people walk the dogs.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
down there.
Yeah, and we've been in contact with the Flint Creek Trail Association. I've sort of explained the plan to them. They seem open to it. Yeah. Because like I said, we're not trying to get rid of anybody's trail.
Where's DNRC? I mean, they have gotta go through a process, or what's that process?
So that process is, you know, kind of an initial review. You can speak to that.
Yeah, so right now what's happening is the appraisal will be happening soon. Right now, the GNRC is just trying to figure out, you know, exactly what land they want to put up for the lease. So they'll get it appraised, then they'll officially, you know, essentially offer it to the public for lease. And then at that point, we would, you know, formally apply.
To the bidding, like a bidding process? Okay, so-
Exactly.
Yeah, it goes out for an RFP. Once it's kind of up for lease. And then there's a whole checklist of, it's not just price, it's a checklist of categories that the DNRC has. I think right now what they're trying to figure out is there's some stuff that they weren't aware of with the airport, as far as there's an exclusion zone or something like that with the runway that the DNRC wasn't aware of. So they're trying to get the boundaries of that figured out, so they actually know what portion of that property has impediments on it already, or yeah, like that, so.
Brenda, do you want to talk to us? So in case you have any questions? I'm not putting you on the spot.
So these houses are on wheels?
Is this,
Potentially either on wheels, we're trying to get the DNRC to let us put them on piers or on a slab. Financing for people is much easier if they're on piers or on a slab, but they're always able to kind of be picked up and moved, but they don't really. I mean, if you drive around and you can see a manufactured houses all over the place, and they don't move, people don't move them in and out, they're usually there to stay. But you skirt them with some kind of a wood or metal skirt. And,
How many RV sites?
we haven't really the RV sites are just an option. I don't know. I mean, I think there's a place for that as far as people wanting to, you know, come and recreate, hunt and hike and do all the stuff that Phillipsburg is. And I would see those more as a kind of a seasonal RV site that somebody leases. I can say right now, we're not gonna do an RV site that comes in and people stay for 1 or 2 days and moves on. That's not our business model. Our business long term.
What about short-term rentals?
I would like to keep that component open just because they can help subsidize the rest of the part, but it would be 10% or less.
Is that a guarantee?
I can do it, yeah.
But
But
checks quick.
Yeah.
I can wait for you to finish.
Sorry, I just. Yeah.
I guess, so on the short-term rental, are you gonna exclude the people who buy from short-term
I think so.
rental?
Yeah.
So you guys would be 7, I mean, if you're going at 10%.
Like that.
Potentially for short-term rental, but you're gonna exclude everybody else from short-term rental.
Yeah, you can write that, you know, the covenants would be a pretty substantial thing, because I mean, we're not. You know, yeah, no working on cars, all of that stuff in there, we're trying to get a community, but yeah, the short-term rental, I know it's a hot button issue for people, but, you know. We've got to make the numbers work somehow, for these things to be able to provide what we're looking for.
So, pretty
It's
much-
not our business model to do short-term rentals everywhere, but it's something that could.
Help make the rest lots more affordable.
And bring tourism and stuff to those, but
So is it really wise to have short-term rentals if people don't have a stake in the whole thing? Coming in right next to the airport and expect them to stay off the airport and their dogs and whatever, is that?
Well, the
I can see a
airport's
conflict there.
fenced, right?
Hmm?
The airport is fenced,
It
correct?
gets, well, you've been out there, you know what's there.
Yeah, and we'd have to.
It's not, I mean, the deer's tail, and that's like a kid.
Donovan can speak to that. He's
Well, yeah.
nodding his head.
Yeah, I would like to say, I mean, there's a park right next door too, so, a public park. But we will need, you know, obviously a separate driving entrance to it. And like I said, we're planning on being on the eastern side, not anywhere near that airport access road and the runway, but on the eastern side of that parcel. Yeah.
And have you guys contacted FAA and done like due diligence on that?
Yep.
They said there's nothing that would prohibit.
There's a runway exclusion zone, but that's all on the east side of the parcel there.
Or sorry, it's along the exclusion is on the west side of the parcel where we weren't planning on building any. So yeah, no, we've been in contact with them and, yeah, there's a chance we would like to put a well in that area, but we've already cleared that wouldn't be an issue with that.
I think Donovan had something to say, he said.
Yeah.
I just had to let him finish.
No, you're fine.
Hey, I can talk. Yes,
Great.
you got me quieted over here. Yeah, I did have a couple comments, Keith and Ryan. I'll look through your documents earlier. I just had a look at them, but as you know, there is the runway exclusion zone. So that was the main concern, is that
Yep.
anything that sticks up out of the ground affects the airport. Even, I mean, it might be pretty far away in your mind, but the FAA might look at that differently. So there's certainly a concern with that. Just from a resident aspect, I have a couple concerns with this, I guess. I mean, you know, the stigma that this type of thing usually brings. So how do you mitigate that? And this might be a bigger conversation than you want to have right now, but do you have these in operation in places? Is it a different type of clientele that we're looking at, or are we going to be expecting the same kind of trailer park type stigma?
You know, that's definitely a tough subject. I mean, you know, federal housing laws, so you can't exclude people. But you can write covenants. You know, we have a vision for the park, and it's not a park of, you know, working on your cars in the driveway. I mean, it's a community, and happy to, you know, meet with you and talk with you in person. But you know,
I do understand that there's laws around this whole thing. I just didn't know if you had any of these that were in operation, and how are they going? What do they look like? How are they managed? Is that something that you've already done, or?
Honestly, we don't. We have other people, you know, we have references to other people that are doing it, but I mentioned in the beginning that you know, this is something I'm transitioning into because I think there's a huge need for housing in general, and housing that, you know, can be, you know, a sub 200 instead of sub 500, you know, or, you know, we're around 500.
But there are models like this, for example, outside of Bozeman, it's called Cameron Crossing right now. It's a much larger 260 unit project, but they're very nice homes. There's like big playgrounds, walking paths, all that. And it's been really popular in the community. The county government has gotten on board. The community is really around it, has supported it, because it's one of the only ways that you can build new workforce housing at this point without massive government subsidies. But
you've hit on a big thing, we're not trying to build the parks of the 70s. If I had a bunch of marketing materials or something, we could, we've got some pictures of other parks and stuff.
These are ones you're involved in?
No, more like the vision of what our goals are. Yeah.
Will DNRC direct like covenants, or do they stay out of that? When they,
As I understand it, DNRC still has some management responsibilities for the properties, but I don't know how the covenants are written in conjunction. I mean, I'm sure they have their own rules.
Covenants.
And we certainly plan on working with the DNRC to address, essentially these same concerns about making the community stay nice, because that's, the DNRC has dealt with that in the past in some of their parcels, and so that's something we're definitely staying on top of.
So who would enforce the covenants? Cause I know some associations, they can't enforce the covenants.
Yeah, well, because it's lease land, you can have an association, but we would still be responsible for that lease, and so we would have a management. Ideally, we'd have somebody local to be the manager of the park, and we'd oversee that, but
That's what it's kind of saying here from Tom Gates. I do not want to take on extra duty being a landlord.
Yeah.
I mean, you're saying right there, you gotta figure out some.
Yeah, we would be in charge of enforcing those. And I think that's, to bring up those letters, it's a letter of support from Tom Gates, superintendent here. And then also CJ Pitcher talking about the lack of workforce housing and how that's affecting Discovery. And I think that's one of our visions too, is let's get some of these local employers like Rancho Rock Creek that, are starved for housing and need this, so that they have a place to be putting their workers. And then those workers then are spending in the local economy rather than, for example, driving out in Missoula or whatever.
I had two more questions real quick, and again, we can take some of this offline. Do you have any metrics around the need for workforce housing? Because it seems to me that there are vacancies. It's not so overwhelming that everybody's living in their cars. It doesn't seem as dire as what it's made out to be. Do you have any metrics around this? How many people are looking for houses?
I've been tracking, and the most units I've ever seen in Phillipsburg is 2. Most of the time is 1 or 0 over the last 3 months that I've been tracking. The major, Zillow and Facebook and those different places. That's something I'm very interested in. I mean, one statistic is that, that the median home that was last sold here was, I think, for median home price, it was $437, I think. Which at current interest rates is, that's like over $2,500 a month, between $2,500 and $3,000 a month in your monthly housing costs.
Well, the county has an empty house in Hall right now, nobody wants to rent it.
No, we've been trying to rent it since July.
Yeah, nobody wants it since July.
Nice house too.
Oh, yeah, we didn't fix it all.
Oh, wait, you have a public comment online from Elena?
Oh, yeah. Go ahead, Elena.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Thank you. Elena Gagliano for the record. I don't have any problem at all regarding modular homes or mini homes. I think they're great. My question is the location. Right by the airport. Okay. And there is no fencing. I'm looking at a map that you presented from 2008. I believe things have changed since 2008. I know there's a lot of Montana codes annotated regarding airports, residential property, noise, things like that. And so that's what I'm thinking about the location. I think I heard Linda Bach from the planning board, so the planning board's gonna be involved with this also?
Yes,
Certainly.
Okay, and again, the location by the airport. I don't think that's a very good location. I don't know how many operations the airport has, but I
Yeah.
know when we try to do this, 2000, the FAA tried to extend the airport and putting it in a different area, a residential area. And we complained about several things about noise and stuff like that. And we stopped it. So it's the location being that close to the airport. And again, the map that you're presenting is from 2008. Things have changed. And I think you need a heck of a lot more resources and looking into this. That's my opinion. Thank you.
I guess my question there would be, well, why, what is the concern about the location? Is it safety? Is it residents hearing the occasional, the one a day airplane that lands there? I guess.
Yeah,
what is the
1.1
concern?
per day.
Definitely safety, public safety. And then you're talking about wells. Do you know that Phillipsburg, the town of Phillipsburg, is having problem now with sewer and water? Is this going to affect the town? Safety is a big problem here. You're talking about adding another residential, a community that close to an airport. And again, noise pollution. So there's a lot of things to take to consider. And this I kind of have an idea of what's going on. I've heard about it, thriving communities, I'm sorry, and 15-minute cities. This is a big push. A lot of the agencies have grants for all this to take place, sustainable developments, and yeah, and I think this place is not a very good location. And I'm going to be looking into it a little bit more on this. Thank you.
Another thing is, in the past, you could have a fire up here, and we had fire, or the Forest Service had a fire camp right down there, 1 year. I think it was in '88, it was a long time ago. But, you could have a fire up here, and that'd be an ideal place. And they also use the airport and spread out with the helicopters, and I think, almost every fire season, if they have a fire in other places, so there'd be helicopters coming in, if there's a place to land.
Well, even a couple of years ago, there was a fire camp there.
And I think, that's the RNRC's call, right? I mean, they manage that now. I mean, they don't seem to have a problem with that. There's a whole, I mean, that whole section is DNRC land there, that parcel that has 2 horses on it. To the immediate east of the airport is DNRC and too. I can't speak to the fire.
Yeah, when we were last speaking to them and touring the property with Brian Robbins, he said that they've used it in the past as a fire camp, but they prefer a site further south that they've used it more recently.
Well, that's if you have a fire further south.
Right.
I'm talking about someday this is gonna burn up here. And that would be an ideal spot.
Yeah, we do, the airport does have an agreement with the Forest Service to provide that capacity. The airport itself, I mean, obviously, we don't have jurisdiction over that adjacent land, but we do have an agreement for the airport property, and it does get utilized every year.
In fact, the permit we have with the Forest Service as part of the airport requires them to allow for fire. And I'm not saying that affects you, but yeah, it requires, yeah.
DNRC, 2 separate entities,
Yeah.
right? Forest Service is the south, right? Or to the.
Yeah, to the south.
Yeah, okay.
But part of the airport's actually on Forest Service grounds.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, not, yeah.
Okay.
Any other comments?
I just
Oh,
have,
Linda.
I have a few just like general things that the planning board will want to see if
Yeah.
it gets that far.
Yep.
So I guess they're gonna wanna know for sure if you're gonna have RVs. How many RV spots you're gonna have, how many modular spots you're gonna have, they're gonna wanna know for sure if you're gonna be putting them on wheel, leaving them on wheels or putting them up. On blocks, and they're gonna wanna know if the DNRC has, as you guys were saying, the DNRC was having some kind of like internal debate on
Yep.
single family residential.
Mhm.
And making sure that they can, that's all kosher, that can go forward.
Yeah, right.
They'll want to know for sure. Like the exempt, so are you putting all of the 70 units on one exempt well of 35? Or are you doing like a community well with lines?
It's it'd be 2 wells serving 35 units each. So-
Okay.
So phased.
Okay,
Phase 1, phase 2, I mean, it could stop after phase 1 if there's not a need at 35 things.
so are you going to do hydrants as well throughout the
If required.
project? I'm assuming that would be required, because this will probably could be in Phillipsburg's. I don't know if it falls in Phillipsburg or Flint Creek, but it's the same chief. So I don't know. Are you looking to annex? They'll want to know that.
City doesn't want to annex because they don't have capacity.
Of how
Sure.
far are the lines off?
So I talked to Ed Roseboom, yesterday. And he said hooking up to sewer simply isn't an option. He said it's almost impossible. It's not only downhill, and so it would require a very expensive pump station to bring it back up. But it would require easements over multiple private parcels that he said just aren't a viable option. So we would be doing our own community septic system and then 2 wells. So we wouldn't be using any services at all.
So where does that like septic system go? Like, is it kind of under the gravel pit? Where is it?
I mean,
Digging out?
ideally it'd be in the ground, but I think distance from the creek would be in the southeast corner.
Okay.
Southeast.
Yeah, that's the most likely place for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, I guess, so the line's not within the 300 feet, right? Or are you going to be asking for an exemption to not go on cities? Cause I think it's 300 feet, isn't it? If the lines are within 300 feet.
Oh,
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah. That's a question
Well,
for Chad.
they were saying this is
Talk to.
they're saying it's outside the city town limits?
It's outside of the town limits, but that doesn't mean that the city doesn't have lines running there, and
Yeah,
and
good point.
usually the rule is if you're within 300 feet, you vote. And of course, if it's within 300 feet, you would have to either get the exemption. And if you're not getting the exemption, yeah, I mean, we got one that's been tied up for 9 years.
Yeah, I mean, that's a deal breaker. I know.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's horrible. I mean, that's-
So, yeah, I mean, if we can't get an exemption, then the project's gonna go, if that's the case, but I would imagine they're not within.
300 feet.
Actually, they're putting out notice bids on that sewer project, aren't they?
I
I
don't
think I saw that in the
I saw it in the
paper,
paper.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
That surprised me on the easement, so for the sewer, if they're going under, all the sewers going under the town streets, so they would have easements on that, but,
Yeah, I don't know.
yeah, none of my business, that kind of just,
Yeah,
Yeah, the planning board will definitely wanna know if you're gonna take out that VRBO Airbnb exemption.
Mhm.
Cause I mean, the planning board, we've heard that there are a lot of rentals in town, they're just all Airbnbs. Nobody wants to do long-term rentals, they all wanna do short-term rentals. They get better bang for their buck. Doing it that way, but you know, that's just,
Are you calling?
it is what it is, I mean, just so that they know.
I'm good. How are you? I'm sorry,
Everybody else. is-
their last item is still
I guess they'll
running
wanna know
over a
too,
few
what happens
minutes.
if, like, how long is your lease and how long are you gonna lease to people? Just so that there's
Oh,
a
okay.
surety that the project will continue, and then what happens?
Yeah,
when
why don't you
lose
see
your
that?
lease? I mean.
That would be great.
Do you have the right to sell it off to somebody? You.
Correct,
Oh,
but it's a
maybe.
99-year lease.
Sandwich
up for
right in
re-
between the.
It's not reappraisal. every
Okay.
15 years, but it's a
Okay,
99-year
thank you.
lease. That is transferable.
Okay. So you could transfer it, but it's not like you're gonna get a bill and then they're gonna.
No, it's 90, up to 99 years, we'd be able to keep.
Okay,
Yeah.
They do a new RFP then?
At 99
Or just-
years,
Oh,
I think,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's pretty far away.
Yeah.
We'll see what's happening after 99 years.
you think by then they just let it go, but.
So I'm still wondering about that 300 foot, that's like a donut rule the town has?
No,
then?
that's the state DEQ laws usually,
Yeah.
that if
No,
your
I was not
project's
aware-
within three
was
hundred.
not aware of that.
We'll look into that.
Interesting.
Any other public comment? We got an interview.
He just actually called. He's gonna run a few minutes late. That was him on the phone. He's just gonna drive up though. They told him you were running over, so.
My only other thing is that in here on your proposed timeline, it says that the subdivision process will take 4 months. That's probably a little optimistic, but, so it usually does a pre-application with the planning board, then you get 6 months to get your application in. And then that process can take through about 3 months, and then you'll move forward. But you get your 3 years with your infrastructure. And come back with planning. And it just runs, our regulations say it'll run like a major subdivision. Road. The only thing you're not required to provide is an actual survey, but you have to provide a plan. You know, which I'm sure in this case, given the size of the field.
Yeah.
So are you extending roadways into there, like paved roadways, dirt roadways, gravel roadways?
We're planning on paved.
Okay,
Separate entrance off of
Airport Road.
okay. So you have to loop somehow or egress, but,
Yeah, well, it'll probably have, one of the two.
okay. So those are just like, I mean, it's hard to kind of speculate because we don't know.
Yeah, I know,
what it is, But,
Yeah,
those are definitely things that planning board wants.
sounds great. I appreciate that.
Anything else? Alrighty, well, we get more info on it anyway.
Yeah, we're gonna keep you guys in the loop as things develop and. Yeah, we find out more from the DNRC.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Yeah, we appreciate the time, thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Yep.
How are you today?
Good, how about you?
Good, we're gonna have our, you know that little goal
Oh, yeah.
up about Maxfield, the little goal. Cameron's here. He might come up here, Cameron, man.
There's the man. Long time no see.
Yeah, I'm good. Jump ahead here.
See, good. How are you?
See you.
Good.
Oh, awesome.
And see, we'll
Hello,
jump
how are you?
ahead a little bit, really just.
And then just-
everybody's
yeah,
here.
then
Move to Dylan?
Yes.
What are you doing? Here,
Well,
you're back, all right.
But anyway, that road going up Little Gold up to Louis, for instance, maybe saying that culvert's coming out, that's your guys' culvert? Little Gold Road?
Little gold.
Yeah, little goal.
I have never heard of little gold.
Get back, aren't ya? Right here,
Yeah, Little Gold Forest Service Road. Which culvert?
what's that one up at?
It's 4 miles.
They're saying, you guys worked.
So
on
the
it
road
last
is
year?
for Service County.
I'd never heard of it being a county. Have you?
Hey, Scotty said it was up in here somewhere.
He said 4 miles up.
Yeah, it's like where it goes off into that.
Yeah, he's the only one that uses it, yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's all Forest Service.
I thought it was, where Chuck did a little work with the blade last year, and then they said that you guys didn't know what on it. But Louis said it. Yeah, see right here, he was saying, you go up and get up into here, he was more something.
Way up there by
Yeah.
Williamsburg.
Yeah, he had a cabin up there or something.
It's Forest Service.
All right, give him Cameron's number.
Yeah, give me-
Anyway, yeah, we'll jump ahead a little bit till that guy comes in.
Okay.
So, we'll go into Ranger Cameron. On the wrap, I think, the way it's going.
Well, I'm here based on your guys' invitation, so
I
you'll
was kind
have
of,
to kick it off and ask me whatever questions you want.
I'm just trying to figure out this, what we're gonna do up there, what you guys, what you're gonna do on this Lake Shore Road. Just. I don't know, it's not really.
Yeah, that's a challenge. I think the paved road above is probably a bigger challenge. It's in worse condition, but I know you guys took a lot of complaints this summer about conditions of it.
We tried to keep up as best we could, but up there, I mean, without the stuff to work with, it's pretty much.
Yeah. When we're both in a catch-22, the better condition we put that road in, the faster people are gonna drive.
If we keep telling them that, then they won't get all the speed bumps.
Right. I mean, the right thing to do honestly up there is to pave it. That should just be a paved road, but then as you know, people are really gonna wanna speed up there and.
Who paved it?
Huh?
You paved it?
Well, it's Forest Service Road, but I mean, originally when we put in for the first flap grant, that's what the proposal was to do.
Well, to get it ready, it wasn't to pave it, it was just to get it.
No,
It could be, maybe,
before that one, yeah,
before that.
but the cost was, like, we could have never come up with a 13% match for it. It was,
I don't see how we don't see it's not our road to take that much. 400 grand to try to throw in the road.
Yeah.
I mean, we got roads that.
So we're taking so much heat on that road, and as you know, but you know, like the speed limit and the 15-mile-an-hour speed limit. And the only way I can figure it out is that speed limit's been on there for years, the 15-mile-an-hour. But the county won't enforce anything lower than 25, so I understand.
Yeah, there's no proof that the county ever did it.
So my point is on that, I mean, it's Forest Service Road, it was probably set at 15 miles per hour, 20 years ago or whatever, 25 years ago, and it should be just left the same. But other people want to raise to 25. And then people want it to stay at 15, so we're caught in the middle, and it's not even our road.
Yeah, unless we can find proof the county did it when it was allowable under the
But
statute.
the worst
yeah.
thing, then
I
the
think
sheriff goes
25.
right back and says that he's not gonna.
Yeah.
He's not gonna force 15, yeah,
So.
But- but 25 is reasonable with the potential with the crosswalk there, that's what the proposal was that you guys had talked about, right? And
But should we put in that crosswalk? It's not our road.
If
You
the Forest Service says yes, my advice would be to do it, but just for public safety, but. Gee, that's your guys, yeah, I understand your frustration.
Like the rat money going towards it, I don't, there's other stuff I think we need to use rat money for, I mean, there's bridges that need to be redone. Ones that we keep putting in for,
and I'm not privy to the small conversations you guys had all summer with the landowners and Sarah. But to fix the road the way we wanted to, as you guys know, it's a $2 million project. And the only way to get that money again is through flat. The odds of getting it any other way, I talked to our engineer yesterday. He's not familiar with any other grants that we could get. So if we went down the flap route again, we already had the proposal once submitted. We could just dust that one off, resubmit it, but it puts us 3 to 5, 6 years down the road before the money actually shows up. Cause that's how federal highway works. They're working years out. So we could definitely do that, and that'll give us a larger pot of money. The match requirement is gone, is my understanding, from federal highways. So we could put in for $2 or $2.5 million project to get the road rebuilt. That's obviously not gonna help with crosswalks and speed limits and all of that, but that's one piece of this puzzle. Is to get the road up to a better standard. Again, as far as crosswalks, and I'm just not privy to all this conversation, so I'm not familiar with what you guys are talking about at all.
flashing light and then put it, I'm just trying to slow it down, I mean, the speed bumps we they got ripped out. I mean, the signs keep getting put out. Paul told me now another sign's all tore down, so he just loaded back pickup. I said, take it to Forest Service there, throw it out over there. We can't just keep spinning and doing all this. It's not our road. I mean, it's just, I don't know how it's gonna get resolved. The people, you missed out on some good. Here,
But the crosswalk was the best, really the best of the ideas.
the guy
really. I
brought
mean,
that to our attention. That was,
Gonna do it on Georgetown Lake Road, have, put one in the
trying to
crosswalk.
slow the people down.
Sign.
Like I said, you paid that. Holy hell, Cameron, you and I both know. They pass you on that rough up there now. I mean, I don't know what's gonna happen.
So as far as the speed limit goes, I have no statutory claim to anything I'm gonna say right here, but whether it's 15 or 25. To me, it probably doesn't matter, because it's the people that are going 50 or 60 miles an hour that are the problem. So how are we gonna get them down to a reasonable?
I guess what, wish they'd have on your road, if you could figure out who's posted that, and if they could figure out, if anybody, then the sheriff. He'll go after,
Well.
but when,
About 25 is all we've found for county records.
that's why, I mean, in
Yeah.
case he had something, that, back in the day, maybe somebody wrote something in the office up there or something, I don't know what's gonna happen.
I could do some research on that unless Sarah already did. Did you guys meet with her at all this summer?
I met with her. I brought that up to her cause you guys were thinking that maybe the Forest Service had set it at 15 miles per hour at one point, and I know she was going to look into it.
Okay.
But that was when I met with her just a couple weeks ago, so I don't know if she had a chance to really dig into
Cause
that.
they'll be coming back here pretty quick, cause we haven't talked much about it, they kind of wait till everybody got set down.
What they were saying is a couple kids were, there was some close calls up there, so they were giving examples of.
Yeah, getting their kids from their houses to the lake was a big push.
So if you put it in a crosswalk, what's to make a kid go walk 300 feet down there to go across the crosswalk?
And how many crosswalks?
I mean, they're just gonna cross anyway.
That's the whole thing, I think it was right through that certain spot, was just pretty much the biggest complaints are in that one spot, so they thought that'd be better than trying to put Kelly humps and,
The issue's right by I think there's some Forest Service ground there with cabins on them. That right there.
Right when you get off the hill.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, are they all is everyone gonna walk down everybody's yards and use the one crosswalk? This is the
I
challenge.
understand, I know what you're thinking.
Right.
Trying to figure out some kind of solution, just that we can figure out the speed limit, there's none really.
Well, our main concern right now is maintaining that road, especially in the spring. And it's all muddy and everything, we can't blade it, and you should see the people come in here yelling about it, and I go up there and that was bad. I mean, it was really bad.
There's so much traffic up there too anymore.
Yeah.
It's just steady.
But we couldn't blade it, it was too wet.
Yeah,
You know,
that's what a damper, it had so much rain there.
So I'll just reiterate the Forest Service position, because this, I mean, shoot, Chuck, I'm sure you guys had conversations when you were working there still. It's a Forest Service jurisdiction road, that's not deniable, right? It's in our records, it's in your record that even matches that or that up there. It's always been a Forest Service road. There comes a point when road use becomes so much, whether it's from recreational use or landowners, that the federal government would rather give the road to an agency that maintains roads for residential purposes. Because oftentimes the needs of a residence exceed what the Forest Service is gonna do to a road, but it doesn't exceed what the Department of Transportation does, or the county does. And I feel like we've reached that tipping point probably before I even showed up. So that would, it's not gonna help you guys' budget or anything, but it should probably just be a county road at this point. Cause we're never gonna maintain it to what the landowners want. Even working together, we're struggling to maintain it to what the landowners want. But if we keep it a Forest Service road, I mean, the only thing I could offer up is we have a road use permit process that we've talked about in the past where residents can do their own maintenance. Now, that's not gonna help during the spring when it's muddy. If it's muddy, you just can't work on the road until there's enough, until it dries out. And that's where the $2 million road work comes in, if we had proper base and gravel on it, maybe when it gets somebody.
And that was what, 3 years ago, and 2 million, so it probably went up more.
Well, it was 1.2 back then, but, I mean, 2.5 million.
You know, I'm saying everything's gone up double.
Right. But we're looking, you know, just a safe estimate would be 5 years down the road before that money actually got put into the road. So. Whether we grade it or you guys grade it, like if we grade it, we'll probably only blade it once the whole year. Cause our grade, we have one grader from here to Whitehall that has a lot of road to cover. And obviously that's not gonna make much of a dent on it. We could put in for a rack grant for some temporary maintenance. But you gotta remember the rack for Tri-County, which is 3 counties and 4 national forests, only has a couple $100,000. So if we got $25,000 enough, we'll do it.
Yeah, that.
You guys should apply. Did you guys apply to be on the Tri-County rack? Anybody?
I did.
You did? Great.
See?
Because that's where the influence comes from, but. RAC is a big committee. I mean, there's 10 to 15 people. They're not gonna dump 200,000. They're not gonna dump it all into Granite County.
They
But
should, cause they haven't gave us that for a
Yeah, yeah.
So don't be doing that.
well, we've got it in Granite County, but it's
Now
just
it's yours,
going to other
though, but
projects.
then they use it for, that's another big argument. we won't get into.
But. A small amount of money like that is just a quick Band-Aid on the road. I mean, $20,000 will grade the road once, you know. For the year, and that would help. Fund
Well,
you
you
guys a
get-
little bit, but.
Get something to help and help us, but I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
we're better than nothing. I mean, then if they can give us like 40 and then try to do it twice a year, and you guys have to get at least it's getting done. It's something to look at.
Do what?
Get 40 and then we can do it twice a year. You have to run water stuff, you know, and so in the fall, and that's what it sets up, try to get it. We probably have a big wreck, but they're not there. Alrighty, well, that's about all. I guess we'll just keep in touch. Be back now for a while, or you?
Yeah, that was just temporary site.
If the county does consider the crosswalk and present the plans to you or what?
Yeah, I mean, I'll just send our engineer, and
Okay.
you guys will
Yeah,
make sure
like
it
I
meets, if it meets county road specs, it's gonna meet forest road spec. But I have no problem experimenting. We went along with the speed bumps. But
Yeah, there wasn't that, they weren't put in, I guess. That's around me. Alrighty, well, that's about all on that. Is there any other thing, Joe?
oh, I could go on. You better stop.
Thanks for coming in,
Yeah.
seeing you, Cameron, we'll
Yeah.
stay in
Yeah.
touch.
Good.
That little goal, we can check in, we can call that Louis,
Who is it?
Louis Polinsky. He was in this morning, we can call him, tell him, guys to look at what's going on.
Really, you have his number by any chance?
I don't have his number, but I can, okay, I was like, I'll track it down for you.
I mean, he's the only one up. I mean, this month, he's saying about the non-maintained road.
Well, that's not little gold, though. That's oil. Has that sign.
We're talking to see.
Yeah, but he lives up there?
No,
Oh,
now he lives right down in the back, woke up.
He has a cabin up there.
Okay. Alrighty, well, we'll jump back to our second interview.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Cameron.
have a good one.
Thanks, have a good seeing you. Thanks, Linda, for all that.
Hi.
You mind if it's open, you want it open, closed, or?
It does matter. How's everybody?
Good.
Good, how are you?
Good. I'm Scott. Nice to meet you.
I'm Billy. Nice to meet you.
Blake Brad, yeah.
Yeah.
Alrighty, well, we're gonna go ahead into this,
Interview?
could you state your name for the record?
Benton Rose.
Chief bastard.
These are the questions you asked last time. So
Okay.
they're supposed
Where are
to
you
be-
from?
Originally from Georgia.
Tell us about yourself.
Well, I've been here 3 years. My work is, I'm a licensed insurance adjuster now. I was a
general contractor for the last 20+ years, but got out of that. Have my background in aviation, I flew from 2009, 2013, just, privately, pleasure flying, and I was a skydiver for quite a few years too. So, yeah, and moved here in 2020. Love the place.
Okay, next one, I'm not trying to rush you through this, and I'm gonna take your time. Is, why do you wanna be a member of the airport?
I have a background in aviation, and I like to see the airport not grow too big. I think there was my wife filled out the application because I had to hit the road, being the GA hub. I wouldn't mind seeing it become like a backcountry hub where, private pilots come in, coming from Whitefish, wherever, fly, come into town, eat lunch and all that, but I like, seeing the place, get the runway spruced up and all that, but I don't wanna see it become a private airport for big clear jets and whatnot.
That kind of throws it right in, what is your idea on FAA?
Have their place.
But, like I said, I'm not trying to hurry or nothing, if it's the time, it's all. Do you have any questions for us on anything of this, or?
No, not at the moment.
You had a good, early bump up with budget.
Okay, good. Yeah, my house is kind of situated in the flight pattern too. It's kind of neat. I like seeing the small planes take off and come in. It's kind of nice, but yeah, that's about it.
Got any questions?
You have a hangar there?
No, I don't.
I think they're all full right now.
Yeah.
I just gave up a lease here for a while. You see some iron on the ground out there when it's looking at that, where these upslope people were talking.
Oh, yeah.
There's some stuff laying out there, they're talking about maybe trying to build out there in that DNRC ground.
Isn't that kind of swampy?
But there's irons by the hangars or?
Yeah, it looks like somebody was been working on it,
Oh, okay.
try redoing it or something. Yeah, anything else you got? No, sir?
Okay.
Pretty short interview, I mean.
I'm gonna keep it quick.
I appreciate you coming, we'll let you know today.
Good to meet you.
All right, thanks.
Yeah, thanks for coming in. Let's do it. Yeah,
Thanks, nice to meet you.
have a good day.
You too.
You
Okay,
guys are
so,
back on track. Now you have extra time.
well, I kind of moved like that around me, see,
So I'll be gone this afternoon, so call me if, we meet with Maureen Lennon.
That corridor, did you hear anything on it?
Oh, yeah, do you guys have documents for me on that? When do I have documents?
Yeah,
I can book.
yeah,
one.
Wally Condon represents him, he'll be in,
Oh.
yeah,
perfect.
so there should be, but she didn't have any issues with that.
Okay.
The CARES money, it's your guys' discretion on if you wanna keep giving that for COVID, but my point would be, COVID's, basically cold now, so why give extra funds for that?
Blanche gave
Yeah.
her comments on that via an email.
Okay. The,
Your comment on it.
I think
No.
Dave Kessler was gonna try to call in, so I'm talking about the.
I
workings on the
did a
thing.
couple messages, and I'm done with this, boy, and I'm just, he's texting me and stuff, but, I mean, with this going on 3 weeks on this power deal, and I guess I'm at the end of my.
But that was with Jeremy,
He
yeah,
said he's gonna take care of, remember, he
Yeah.
said he is buying the stuff. and I mean,
but Jeremy, yeah, it's on Jeremy on that.
But I mean, when you bid this stuff, you're bidding as with him too, really, cause I mean, he knew that he's gonna have to have electricity.
Yeah,
I guess it's.
I don't
guess
know that
that's
his
really
bid
just
included
seems like
that.
we just keep getting pushed off,
Yeah.
and so.
But I think that's outside his hands. I feel you, I hear your frustration.
Yeah,
It's not like now he texted me and said, well, maybe get a little Wingo or phone, right? You know, it don't matter to me anymore who, I mean, it's done. And
Yeah.
upstairs, he knew he had to have somebody with electricity up there, and that should be that should be on him. I mean, when you're bidding this stuff and.
Well, the lights weren't bid either, though. That wasn't part of any of his bids. He was just, yeah, but.
See how much else on there that's.
The county does not acquire, the school district does not qualify for. The town's gonna be potentially looking at that.
You might know the answer to this. CJ Pitcher, I was talking to him and he wanted to know if the town does in fact get the resort tax designation, is there a way that Discovery could make a donation into that fund to support infrastructure needs with a tax break, obviously? I told him I didn't know. I would look into it and get back with him.
I think you'd wanna do it directly to the town potentially.
Okay.
But what the tax break is, I'd have to look into that. You're talking like a state of Montana break?
I don't know. I can clarify with him. Maybe I should just connect him with you
Yeah, cause I could do some research on,
on something more specific.
yeah. Okay,
Cause he was kind of bummed that
it wasn't gonna.
that we didn't qualify, yeah.
They may have already been here.
10:30.
Huh?
10:30.
Oh, your text at 11:30.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were good.
Wah, wah, wah.
Linda Bach, if you wanna talk to her, she's got a lot of info. She's upstairs.
On
if
it,
you wanna
yeah.
talk to her. Yeah.
Okay,
I can send you the recording too.
okay, that's cool.
I have their, the page they gave us.
Yeah, I just read that.
Okay, alright. But there's still a lot of things that have to do with the DNIC that goes through like the bidding process. The,
Just making stuff. Like, they're just making like lots for people to put a modular home. It's not like forced housing.
also the concerns came up of safety issues next to the airport and yeah, the.
What workforce employee comes with their own modular home?
So, yeah, that's yeah.
Okay.
Thanks for your comment.
Yeah, thanks for your comment. Have a good one. Go Grizz.
There's so much to this out there. And they couldn't answer some of the questions. It was like.
Yeah, it's too initial.
So that'd be quite a septic system for 70 houses.
And
Yeah.
2 wells.
And there's a water table there that's like way up.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
And when I was out there, Duran said they could not touch that trail. That trail has to stay. It was a designated trail
Yeah.
through the state. And, I mean, yeah.
There's, yeah, they got a lot of things to work through.
Is that Philip Brown getting on or is he just?
Coming in. Do you remember him?
See the guy that wants to sell?
Was he
Uh-huh.
the fishing guy?
Yep. He just emailed me a permit too of sorts. I saw it pop up in the corner.
That he received from,
Did you read
Oh,
that?
from, I'll print it for you. Right now. I thought you would need more time with Cameron.
What's his permit for?
It's from Chad. We told him to go get with Chad and explore that as well, and so he
Did he
did.
try on the parking area?
Yeah, he tried all those areas and no one ever got back with him, and he just hit challenge after challenge after challenge, was my understanding.
Tried for that other parking area?
Yeah, to try continuing to work with those other agencies, and that if he was unsuccessful, to come back here and you guys work with him. Here's the permit, went with, talked to the sanitarian.
Wasn't he gonna go up the road a little further and work with the Forest Service, and they won't call back?
Yeah, I don't remember what the end issue was, but he had challenges working with the other agencies.
He like to throw everything on everybody else. Saying, I said, well, it should just be accountable, if we don't have the money to take it.
Lab opens again in 2026. And there is no match requirement any longer.
But he has to plan on having it ready.
Like you said, just dust off the old proposal.
Expiration date, end of fishing season. Oh, ice fishing season.
But funny on some of the federal laws like that, infrastructure, they gave the money to. Electric Hydro got the money off that infrastructure bill.
I know, 500 some odd $1,000.
Electric Hydro got the money off that infrastructure bill.
Oh, yeah.
Not the county. I mean. After all of our talking to
And pushing
their
and
representatives. And their press release said it was going to Granite County, so everyone's saying oh, the county, yeah. Didn't go to the county. Electric Hydro.
Wonder what they're gonna do with
That
it.
state bill.
The federal infrastructure money, I think is what it was.
Yeah.
To the state.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that is right.
Yeah.
It did go through the state.
Yeah, I did. But. There must have been the strings attached with it and had to go to the entity making the
'Cause
power. wasn't
that's
it?
when we reached back out to Testers guy. He
Yeah.
was saying that it's really hard to get any money for maintenance on dams, but it's
Yeah.
the hydro plant that can get the money because they're producing the
So if the
power.
county would have been doing their own power, we would have got.
Mhm.
So he put this up by the church there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We really don't have. Rules on using the right of way, I mean.
Mm-mm.
You can't stop people from parking in the right of way. You know,
I mean, if he got back up there over there, so the trucks would turn around and got in there.
I think last time you told him he would have to plow it himself up there, and I think he was fine with that.
Time you have to leave, Blaine,
12:30ish.
so you're gonna be here for that. Well,
Yeah. Who was you talking to, Department of Commerce?
Yes. It was like a all group conference call. There was that Lindsay. I don't know, I got on it late. Lindsay, there was like 4 people on it.
Lindsay's with,
It's the Breezy.
Well, we're gonna have to make a decision whether we're gonna keep on doing that maintenance up there. And taking all the heat. You know, I know You know, if we do the maintenance, that's why everybody thinks it's a county road. They know they're doing that.
Yeah. You guys take all the heat.
If they could throw, you know, like 40, 50,000 towards us to take care of it, and it sure help, but right now, we're beating our heads against something that's.
You know, they talk about having no money. Back in the day, they were selling timber. Those timber sales were appraised, and part of that appraisal, part of that stoppage was for road maintenance. And some of it was for that individual sale, and some of it was in the general fund. But every log truck went down the road, they paid road maintenance. And so that's why you had a really good road crew back in the day. You know,
No, I agree.
but nobody understands that. You know,
It's too easy to say, don't go for flat. You know, I haven't guessed it the first time. It's not, we don't have $500,000.
You can always tell those homeowners they can go apply for a Forest Service permit and work on the road themselves.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Yeah.
They can form an association. Yeah, maybe we should mention that to them.
Yeah, then they could get a permit for a crosswalk.
It was Department of Commerce.
Lindsay.
Yeah.
I let Paul know that what Cameron said about Little Gold. He was gonna call the forest.
Could you tell him to send Louis' number to Cameron, please?
All right.
Get that thing I sent you on yesterday on the time card?
Yeah. Oh, I didn't get anything from you yesterday. No, I don't have anything from you.
Did it come through and you need to use it?
Maybe. Let me see. I'm not good at checking those messages.
Wait, they save it.
Oh, here it is.
Oh, you did get it? Sure. I didn't know how to take it all at once. Through that, through, there was another one.
Isn't busy yet.
I'm gonna try to look on that site to see what. I think he's sitting there. Are you Philip?
Yeah.
I couldn't get out. What happened? You Philip? Come on, I'm sorry. I thought I heard you. I'm just getting ready with the wrist rock.
Right. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
We can go ahead and jump right into yours. We got your. Got your. Never had no luck with the other ones, huh?
No, I got an email back from Forest Service. Apparently you have to be an outfitter to do this sort of thing on federal property. It's not Montana law, but it's federal law. So, which is fine, but they're not accepting applications till next spring because they're going through like a revamp of everything. So she's supposed to contact me next year and we'll see how that goes. But everything on Georgetown is Forest Service as far as fishing access or campgrounds or boat ramps, except for Stewart's Bay. And it's like not open in the winter apparently, which is Montana, but that all the fishing accesses have changed hands from the fisheries. They all used to be under control by the fisheries. Now they're under control by whoever owns the land. So all the fishing accesses is all under new management, so they don't know what to do with the permit they have online. So they're revamping too. They're supposed to get a hold of me by the 6th. But that really doesn't, it's not Georgetown. That's for like Canyon Ferry and other places that have fishing access that are actually Montana Forest Service.
And now you go up in, cross the dam, take that right in there on ours, up by the church.
That's where I'm thinking right there.
And you would plow into yours.
Yeah, and I talked to a guy, I did a job up there for a guy that does plowing. And cause I was gonna ask him about plowing it for me, hiring him. And he says it's where they turn around with the plow truck. So it's already plowed, which I'm assuming I need to plow a little bit more to stay out of their way,
That's what.
which is fine. If I hire him or if I just do it myself, it's not big, I don't need a lot of space, but.
Yeah, I just wanna make sure you're out of their way, cause then they park straight up there.
Right, right, cause that's what I was thinking, it's snowing at the time and they whip in there to turn around or whatever, I don't wanna do it.
That, no truck, you'd probably wanna get with Paul to make sure he knows. What do you think? Paul, tell him where to be best.
Where a lot of extras.
And that's what I was gonna ask, is what would be the best place where exactly you guys might want me to be? I know it's a pretty open
I think
area.
it'd be best to get with him and not try to pass it on.
Right.
But then that way, cause he knows where they park stuff in there.
Right.
and You're out of the way.
You want kind of a flat spot, don't you?
Yeah, I
So you
mean,
have to go-
I'm not
you
gonna
have to go
really,
up a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna set up much, it's just gonna be my truck, and my trailer parked, so I mean. Yeah, I
Then
don't-
you probably take it with you and you.
yeah, I'm not gonna leave nothing, I'm gonna be gone, you won't even know I'm there when I leave on a day, during the, when I leave, I'm gone.
I guess that other than just reading, just so there's not a mess up there, nothing, with it.
Right, and I plan on bringing a trash can for my stuff and for people's stuff, just in case, I don't intend on people leaving trash, but I'm definitely gonna bring a trash can on a daily basis.
Have you talked to Anaconda Deer Lodge or what kind
I
of
did.
business license you need?
I have that permit, I just have to run it down to them. So they wanted only thing they wanted from you was like, if we can do it, it's just like an approval letter of some kind, which I would like to have too. Something like that, so they just wanted something like that to get it approved, but I talked to them, I got the permit downloaded, I just gotta go take it to them.
Well, we told you to go and try, the mothers before us and it's not.
And I've been trying to wait on them. I've talked to like 30 people and they just don't know. Most people don't know.
We can make as long as you got everything you need and then make the motion, then get it over letter.
Okay.
Get on, so you can actually know that you got somewhere to do it before it's too late and you're scrambling.
Right, which is where I'm getting now. Like I've had so many people tell me no and that they just don't know. Or but most of the Forest Service in the fishing access, like Montana State, just don't even know what to do with it. They're just
What do you think?
confused.
Yeah, I mean, I get a letter there, good. Work with Billy, we can get it written. What kind of term, like you're talking, just for the 22-23 fishing, ice fishing season or?
Just this year for now, especially if I can get somewhere with the Forest Service next year.
Fishing season, it's the only time.
Yeah.
Right, and I just plan on doing like Saturday and Sunday. I don't plan on being up there every day. And I plan on right now, they're gonna let me sit up at the silos at Canyon Ferry. So I'm gonna rotate. I'm not gonna be there every weekend, maybe every other weekend. But if the ice don't freeze on Canyon Ferry this year, I may be up here more often. Just because it's gonna be the only place frozen, maybe.
And if you could provide us your liability policy, is it like how big of a policy is it?
I called my insurance lady in Deer Lodge last week. She's supposed to be getting back to me on exactly.
Okay.
She wasn't sure exactly what I
It'd
needed.
be best to do is 1.5 million aggregate, not per occurrence, and then get the name of the county as an additional insured.
Okay.
Yeah, you get that, and my opinion, I'm not speaking for trust, but I'd make the motion today, go ahead, let you do it, and get a fall, see where you can set up and then out of the way.
Perfect. Can I write his name down?
Yeah.
Can you give me
I'll
a
get you
note
the
with his
information.
name or number or whatever?
Did you make that motion?
Yeah, I'll make the motion.
But he waits for the letter to start, or
Which it'll be a minute before I can do anything.
Yeah, we'll get the letter right away and get it, and get your insurance and stuff, but I'll make the motion, go ahead and let Bill Brown set up an ice fishing chat, or a ice fishing. Public comment? Being none, all in favor? Aye. That's it.
I appreciate it.
Yep, just make sure you get us all before you do it.
I will, yeah, and like I said, it'll be probably a minute with the weather the way it is, so hopefully not, but we'll see.
All right, like last year, you know, we told you to see what you do with them, but obviously.
And hopefully that changes next year, because like I said, I mean, it's just gonna be better for me if I can be right down in the water or at the boat ramp. So hopefully next year they'll get me somewhere, not only with Georgetown, but other places too, you know, I'm working on the causeway, it's a fishing access. But I'm supposed to call them by the 6th, because they just don't know. They didn't even know who was in control of it, like what region it was in, so it's been a struggle, I've been working on this for like. 4 months.
Okay, where you go try it now, so.
Perfect.
Good luck and have fun.
Awesome, I'll get you
Yeah, good luck.
everything you need, I appreciate you,
Yeah.
thank you so much, thank you really for your hard work, I
Thank you.
appreciate you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Take care. Yeah.
Yep, you too, thank you.
What the hell, somebody's trying to make. He might do pretty good there, hope he does.
Oh, one thing we should have in the letter too is not blocking anything in with the chapel, but that's the summer anyway, they're not
Yeah.
doing it.
Yeah, it gets with Paul, there's a little like Chuck was saying up over and he can stay away from there. That way they can come in, just not say sick and where
Perfect.
snow plows. Is the mayor getting on or coming?
I think her and Jana are both coming in.
Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff yet on that DNRC ground. They gotta go through so much there that. Then, said just the lease it, they gotta pay, what is it, how much?
For the houses? What was he saying?
I guess there's so
It
much
was a
there
lot of
that,
stuff.
and it's not really the proper spot. You know, that big dip in there and then you know, and that's all, a lot of that river rock got shoved over there, so I mean, you can't really, it's gonna be.
You know, someday there'll be jets coming in. 'Cause they said they can land in there right now. Remember I asked them
Oh, yeah.
back, say, well, actually, they could land right now. I don't know why they're not.
I don't think it meets the spec, the FAA, we're not on board with them for that, that's why they're doing that whole big new study and all that. Maybe it's that.
Well, I think they'll build the houses and I don't think you own them. You could just rent them because they said it would be about $1,400 a month to rent.
Well,
1 to
they
2
said
bedroom
700,
house.
That thing I read before.
In the meeting, they said about $1,400 a month for a 1 to 2 bedroom is what I
That's
got in the
including
minute.
the rent and rent on the house and a piece of.
And the piece of them, so that's the total.
But if they're on wheels, I guess I don't.
If they're on wheels, they aren't taxed. Like a regular house, are they?
There's a personal property tax, but
There's something here, I don't know, I gotta read some more on that.
I wouldn't say much about it, let them go through, let them go through the process.
I just didn't understand some of that stuff, Linda's on it, she's.
Yeah. Thankfully.
Yeah, I thought she could have.
That lady here from the Phillipsburg paper, she's laughing at me.
You blame her?
Don Davis got me good a couple times, didn't he?
Yeah, he
He's a
did.
good guy.
He was wound up today.
He was, yeah. does a good job.
Yeah, he does.
He's fun to work with.
He's funny.
He's 69.
His wife retired last year, though, I believe. She had a quilt shop down there in Clinton and they sold that.
Something went
So-
on there.
So it makes sense that he's retiring.
You get paid to sleep?
Nope. Anyway. Sometimes I go into a semi-hibernation, but I can still do it.
Just give me hell.
I know.
Have you been pretty busy?
Yeah, I'm also defending my master's thesis this week, so
Well, it is
last
busy.
week, this week, and next week are
What's your master's in?
environmental history and literature.
Oh, wow.
Ah, all right.
Wow. What is your
Awesome.
thesis?
Complicated. The fires in Montana in 1910 and on one of the authors in Idaho that was about 20 when they burned through Idaho, so.
Oh, very cool.
Nice. You wanna go on and get a PhD?
That was the plan initially, and my master's taught me that that was not,
It's gonna.
not gonna work.
We used to have some pictures back from 1910 on the fires and they come through that lower end and then whatever happened, wish we could find them. But they're cool.
They got this county
Hmm?
in 1910. We probably burned the whole place up.
That's funny how you get out there and you see some of that where we just look at the trees difference and colors and that. It's
Yeah.
amazing. Did they start basketball yet, Lynn?
Practice, yeah. Yeah. Hmm.
Bunch of kids out?
Yeah, there's 24 boys in Drummond. I think, yeah. Yeah. That should be good. The games start, I think, following weekend. 7th and 8th or whatever that is. Lewistown, they're going over.
To Lewistown?
Yeah. They're
That's
playing
the first time.
Highwood and,
Yeah.
I wouldn't some of that.
and then that Stanford maybe.
Phillipsburg got quite a few kids too.
What was that?
Just Phillipsburg.
They the girl who writes sports hasn't sent anything yet, so I don't know.
The-
how many they had out.
The boys with Jake being hurt and. Yeah, it's gonna be there. I don't think they have great numbers of the boys, but maybe it'll surprise me.
My grandpa was on the 1910 Flyers in Idaho.
Really? Some knowledge for you.
There you go. Probably read his name somewhere. Through all the reports.
Okay, I was like. I thought I had a number. Maybe more than 20. That's what I thought. So, you know, we have. Well, it's. Oh, no, yeah, that was. She started. Absolutely love that.
Righty, we'll go ahead and get started on with Mayor Leeper. In the South Main Bridge.
Yes, come in. Big Frog, how you doing?
Good, you.
Gail Leeper, Mayor Drummond. So the South Main stuff, I'm assuming you got informed by Billy being on that Zoom call that she was.
I didn't have any documents for you in there though on anything.
Have you guys read House Bill 11? Yeah, so that tells you a bunch about it.
And the grant conditions.
And yeah, the grant conditions and all of that.
The conditions of the grant, that's what the conference call is about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically what the money can't just be ran through the town. It's a 1-to-1 match, dollar-to-dollar match. I think the deadline is.
Probably has to be done by 2025.
25, yeah.
I think this is my opinion, of what you say, having a back grant, and we got to kind of look at it, not even read at it. Still, we're. Here's never good, but.
Well, and they
We don't have to make that.
yeah, nor do we. They talked about getting a detailed.
An initial technical report.
Yeah.
Which they need that by March of 2024. That's one of the regulations. They gotta have that before it goes any further. And we just got a ballpark figure out of our engineer, because it's gotta be from the report.
Yeah.
And he threw out the figure of $5,000. It's like, we don't want to spend $5,000 on the report before you go any further.
Well, it's reimbursable, so you don't get any of the money until the project is done.
Right.
And so we just wanted to just be upfront with you guys about, and it's not like we have to deny the money. If we don't put an application in. Then
It's all part of the coal endowment,
Yeah.
so it's always, you can always apply for it. It's not like ARPA monies, which is a one-time deal.
Yeah.
This is the coal trust endowment, and it's always gonna be out there.
And-
Where you guys can,
And Drummond was last on the list,
the priority list.
the priority list, so you don't even know if you're gonna get it. or
That's
not.
the money's available.
Yeah, this is my opinion, but I just soon say hell with that grant and that, and we'll just read that again next spring and then go forward and clean it like we did that one time.
And understandably, it's your guys' to do, so we just wanted to, because has Drummond's name on it. we felt like we need to come and put on the record about all that, but Billy was on that, so we call it, so.
First thing is this, you don't understand them, I thought, and all of a sudden, you little words in there, all of a sudden you get hit by like a map.
Well, any,
Well, that's just it, yeah, we didn't know all that, when Fitzpatrick was throwing this out, that, oh, I got you 190 grand, it's like, oh, what are the conditions, John?
Yeah.
You know, that's never discussed,
Yeah.
and then when we found it out, it's like, those are two big red flags for me, it's reimbursable.
right,
And then it's a 100% match, and it's like, whoa, come on.
well, and it
Had,
could be,
had that been discussed to begin with, we may have said, you know what, we're not gonna bother.
and it could be
Yeah.
even that it costs way more than $380,000, so, anyway,
Yeah.
that's all, we just wanted to be,
Okay.
let you guys know that.
Yeah.
That we, you know, and we don't apply for it, so therefore, I was concerned about if that was earmarked. That somebody else in the state, but it doesn't work like that, so.
Good,
And-
that's my opinion. Yeah,
Yep.
just move on this spring when it gets, well, it's nice now, but
Sure.
have to clean it all up, and then we got a couple guys that are gonna try to look at it.
Sure.
From there.
Yep, sounds good.
Again, if you want to apply for money down the road.
Okay.
Thanks for.
Okay, thank
Do
you.
you want to reach out to the Department of Commerce and let them know that we won't be moving forward, or do you want?
No, they,
Or-
well, because they just said if we don't apply it, it's
It'll
not
just-
applicable.
okay,
So
perfect.
we don't really
Yeah,
have to
if
do
they
it.
reach out to us, we'll tell
We
them.
will, we'll
Okay.
tell them that we got what,
It's,
yeah,
it's one of those, if they don't see something, they're not gonna. put it.
yeah.
So,
Perfect.
so,
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, sounds good.
What? No worries. Good, I feel.
Yeah, you put McQueen on 130, which is fine, it's my fault, I missed the last week, because I wrote it down in December instead of November.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
So I apologize, I was the bad guy. You can make me if you want.
You're representing them, is that what?
Yeah, that's my agreement, yeah, that I did finally, I got
Is there anybody
arrested.
else coming in on that, or?
Linda would be down.
Linda will come in, you put it at 130, which is fine, I just was early because I had stuff to file with justice court, too, so I thought, I even bought my license plates today.
Oh.
I took money.
She's upstairs.
I'll just give you.
Can we do it now, as long as Linda's still here?
Yeah,
She is here.
Yeah, yeah, you
okay.
can move it up. Yeah,
Can we
yeah.
call her?
I think as long as she's here.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you
Yeah.
very much.
Can we call her?
Yeah, come on.
And I
up.
got my lunch out of your
Yeah.
mouth, which is usual. Scott was up there too.
She
You
comes
never
down,
miss
wants
the-
to hear and then state your name and stuff.
Got a trial date for my next door neighbors.
Yes, we do.
Claims of
let's see
state
here.
Talking
security,
later.
so they would like to just scoop this up if you're available. Thank you.
Is she
Bye,
available?
bye.
Is she
Yeah, January
Yes.
30th.
Really?
I got down. Yeah, she's on her way.
He's calmed down a little bit.
Yeah, well, the Beds took it easy on them there.
They took it way easy.
Yeah,
They should have.
probably, yeah.
But we called them in twice for driving not to work on Saturday and just woke up.
So
At least one of them.
you're on Zoom, just so you know.
That's okay. I don't mind. I've been Zoom before, I'll be Zoomed again. I don't care.
Zoom's fine.
Only my probation officer does for sure. Oh. So Willie Peck may call you, he used to own the sawmill at Drummond, but he's doing the resource use planning project for Mineral County, which is great. We're in the middle of the Lolo plan and the Grizzly Bear plan, which has been pretty weird. We've learned about pepper spray training now for people. Don't teach them how to spray the bear, teach them how to spray their friend, because grizzlies like peppered meat better. Just spray your friend. That's all you gotta do is just spray your friend and get the hell out of there.
Ow. Now we're gonna have to go hiking with you.
That's what you do. We put that under comments on the grizzly bear plan. I don't think the Forest Service and the Fish and Wildlife Service thought we were very funny. But everybody else thought it was great.
You know, if the, I had to call them Great Tax Gate, log gate up there, you know anything about that?
I don't.
Oh, guy said he had some easements and he was showing me, but I'll look at it.
Which-
Great Tag has a lock gate up there, I guess.
Up Bear Creek or?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, cause they had, the house and the stuff's on that east end and Bear. Creek. So I don't think, we don't ever see anything that way. But there was a lot of county roads in that, in there too.
Yeah.
So-
I don't think he thinks it's county road, he just thinks he has easements
Wow.
there. I was wondering if you knew anything about it.
I don't know what that is.
There you go.
Weird. Haven't seen that one. Been awfully quiet with our neighbor now. They finally figured out they have the car kept all locked out. and
That's the
stuff.
existing house they're gonna break out.
They kind of got it.
Good job.
Well, that was, they finally figured out they're not gonna
Yeah.
inroads.
Okay. We're jumping ahead here. You're always in here. Let me say your last name. Go ahead and state it.
Hi, my name is Wally Conglin, CONGDON. And if you're at Bradshaw, I'll look me up, it's in Walter, the state park guy, but anyway. We go back a long way, because my dad did what his dad did for two as well, which is a weird world, but that's what it is. So McLean's have been clients over water stuff for years, which is what's in front of you today. So that's why we finally got an agreement figured out between the heirs. Dolores passed first and didn't have a will, so George inherited her part, then George passed. But George also didn't have a will, so I had to do both estates at one time, because they never did the first one in the process of doing the second one. But the four kids, one of whom was married to your sheriff, Scott Dunker's his wife, etc., made a deal amongst themselves after a lot of kind of cajoling to say, look, the two boys who want to stay on the ranch and keep a ranch, let's figure it out so they can, instead of selling it for the cash, for the money, for the big dollars. So we worked on an agreement that I gave Linda a copy of, that I think you guys have too, which basically says, as long as they keep it as a ranch and keep ranching it, we're not gonna sell it. And the girls don't get paid off for that part of it, they got some cash up front, and that's good. And for the girls' lifetimes, that's what they're bound to do. The only thing the boys really did walk besides ranching the ranches, because each of them either needs to borrow money or have their own house, is they each get a 20-acre piece of ground. So the piece that Forrest lives in, he's an electrician too, is a 20-acre parcel that was done years ago. It was an occasional sale or something. I'm talking 40 years ago. But the piece that George McLean the Younger lives on was never split out from the home place because of all sorts of weird things over the years. So this 20 that's on your map is an aliquot 20-acre parcel, which we just figured, let's have the judge create that 20. So George has that 20, Forrest has his 20, and the rest of the place sits the way it is. And it will stay that way for what the agreement of the parties is. And I sent you as well a copy of a notice of agreement. So that's getting reported in the Crooked Recorder's office. So nobody can enter on the deal. Nobody can say, oh, we didn't know. No, everybody will know because the notice gets recorded. So no buyer can come and run it. So we set it up on purpose to not get the deal breached. You see what I'm doing?
So, and this is all before the court right now, the court is just giving us notice, we object to it, now's the time to.
Right now's the time.
Object or hold our
In
peace.
state law says the commissioners have the authority to tell the court or not. So we just need a letter that says, yeah, we don't like this, we object, or if you say, we support the concept of keeping part of Granite County in agriculture, and this facilitates doing that. That's all the judge needs from you is a letter that says that, and I did it a little backwards. Because usually we file a motion with the court first and then send it to you. The reason it's backwards is because young George's health has been up and down the roller coaster of 3 kinds of cancer and internal organs. And so we were trying to make sure that we're fine there to get this all done before we get to the end of the year if possible. So that's kind of why we have the schedule a little bit fouled up. That's my fault, but also it's not like we don't know each other. And I think you guys know, we're not trying to run a deal. We're trying to do this right, finally. And I've tried to get ranches to do this for like 20 years. And this is the first time we actually got it done.
Will there be any issues with the EQ? There
None.
None.
20 acre.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a 20-acre cat oversees that.
Yeah.
That. And the house is existing.
Yeah, the house is, so's the septic permit, so's the well.
Yeah. So
everything's there.
it literally has no impact beyond what it already has, and it's essentially a family transfer.
Yeah.
Through a court.
It was better to do it through the court. The other part is the basis stays with the property from the estate then, because both of the parents passed away. So that jumped the value of it one way or the other way. So if George
Yeah.
needs to borrow something to either pay off a bill or to change part of the back room of the building, he can do that because he owns that 20 to do with it. That's the only reason.
Yeah, that all sounds reasonable.
Yeah, we have no problems with this one.
Okay,
So we need a motion to approve, to write a letter, I'll make that motion to write a letter to approve this.
Or just would be not, letter not objecting to the court order division.
Letter not objecting to the court order.
I second it. Public comment?
You're not wanting any more than that, right?
No, that's
County
what we
doesn't
need.
object to that.
Yeah,
None, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carried back.
well, thank you very much.
Do I have to sign something?
Nope.
And the agreement itself is public record. And so don't be shy about I just wish other people would have thought to do this way. And some of them I grew up with, like Fungus Kids, Unisys, whatever else, the ones I've seen split over the years. But I just wish people who stayed would either had a little more ability to manage to stay, but always what happens is the one who stays doesn't have enough money to pay everybody else off, and people see the dollars.
Yeah, that's a good way to do it. So you need a letter from the county,
Yeah,
county letterhead, okay.
yeah, please, just, we'll give it to the district court and just say, Your Honor, there's no objection to doing this from the commissioners, and we have a warrant and it's a plan.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yep. Yeah, thanks for coming in.
And you even got me to spend money on license plates today.
You can pay your real property taxes too.
They're all-
Thanks, Linda.
Thank you. Thanks,
Linda, thank you for the help.
Alright,
How much did they go up is the question.
The ours didn't go up hardly at all. The see, we just have. Most of that's ag ground and the houses are vetted, but didn't go up a lot because they're not really against the age for us.
Taxes are went way up.
Yeah,
Really?
some people's went up 40%.
Nice.
Yeah. So there's gonna be people, I'm sure, putting in for the tax appeal board.
right now, we only have 6,
Really?
and I think AB 26s are all closed out, so they'll be past the deadline. We had more, but a lot sold their properties, so they've been dismissed,
Oh,
and some have been withdrawn, so.
I'm still having trouble figuring out how the state got where it got with the Supreme Court in terms of the assessment for the education money.
yeah, I haven't read the opinion, but one of their arguments was that it went on so long that basically kind of almost a stopple type argument that doesn't, something's not right, it's not in the statute, but that to me is a legislative problem, they need clearer statutes there on it, but I'm sure they'll be going into cleaning it up now, but.
Write it up.
You know, we should do that, actually.
Yeah, get it
Because-
to his boys. For making some. Yeah, the Hinkle boys and
Good.
Belgrade and. Belgrade.
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 But it is a mess because the statute says, first, nobody talked about the state that has no power to assess. That was not in the argument that they made, and I'm like, what the hell? Why didn't you guys argue that? They tell you to
Yeah.
assess, but the state itself can't assess.
I thought Mako had asked for like a time extension too, whatever happened with that.
They just-
but-
Here's a letter that Mako just sent us, that they're sending the governor, they just printed it, it just came in.
But it says they can't increase taxes by
Yeah.
more than X percentage, so how do we get around that? That's what I don't understand.
Yeah, I think their ruling was a little, but at least it's on them and not the county doing it, but.
Right.
Still, that's frustrating.
Nothing against the Supreme Court, but that was a hard one, and I don't quite connect the dots. The other thing that wasn't argued is I-105. What it did 30 years ago, when the public passed it, to say, we're capping property taxes, passing this, we capped the tax, we didn't cap the mills necessarily. But 105 was a big deal, and that's what drove the legislature through all these different derivatives all these years. And that was not argued in the briefs. I'm like, what the devil? Because usually the public vote is kind of a sacred cow. Because that's the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, that, I don't agree with the decision, I guess we live with it.
We have to have that on the agenda next week to figure out how they're,
Say, yeah. But
Yeah.
soon.
okay.
I'll have to be corrected. So,
Either do supplemental.
We need to get a letter to who we pick for airport board today.
Yes, you guys will have to decide who you want to be appointed.
I do that on the record. And make your motion.
Go, do it now.
Yeah, we can do it now.
Wow.
The airport one.
I'll copy that.
I can probably get
Move
one
to
from
put
over
the guy
there.
on there.
You can just have that one.
Actually, yeah, take it,
Yeah.
thank you.
Okay, Jared, when are you gonna?
Let me know what you guys do. Because we.
Second it.
Oh, you made the motion. okay.
Public comment.
Sense of-
Being none on favor.
Yeah.
I will get notice of that.
We told them we let them know today for sure.
do it, but
No. What's up with this? Airport won't get rid of a car now?
They talked to you about that when Donovan and Ernie came in. Remember, they have a Honda Pilot out there, the electrical isn't really working. And they wanna put it out for surplus auction. They have another vehicle already down there.
Yeah, that Jeep. Yeah, they have two.
Yeah,
It's fine with me, just have to put it in the.
paper. Yeah, they're gonna bring it up here, so if people wanna see it, they can come up here rather than having.
Oh, the colors are nice.
And after on that, that we just putting a.
Well, I would do a, that has no value to it, and no, or not needed for the county bid.
We'll do a motion to put the 2005 Honda Pilot car there for auction because it's no longer needed. But
Second it. Public comment. Is none all in favor?
Aye.
We got a lot of equipment down there, Wally.
I have a lot. You know why?
Why?
Well, the tractors I run, but all the cars run, I have my first car still. All the international harvesters run, all the scouts run, all the Jeeps run, all the old 40 stuff runs, and everybody and their brother tries to buy them from me all the time. So maybe build 4 or 5 this next winter in the shop and sell a few, but see, that's why I don't sell it, because there's way too many miles to town. So if I sold all of them, I have enough for a down payment on one new pickup, not the whole truck, just a down payment on one. I got offered $7,000 for a '76 Ford F-250 we had. That was the last pickup truck that H.O. Bell sold in Missoula when they closed and sold to Kathy Oaker.
You didn't sell it?
I got offered more money than we paid for it brand new. We paid $6,100 for it brand new.
what year was it?
76
76.
Bicentennial. We paid $6,100 for it. We got offered more than that for it last week.
Did you sell it?
No, I didn't sell it, because guess what I traded in for it? A 1962 Ford Unibody that I own. God, I wish I had that Unibody now, because it's worth like $25,000.
Uh-oh.
I was 12 when I paid that for that little Jeep. It was $500 and it still runs great. You don't know.
So on that CARES Act money, what would you explain that again, Billy?
So when COVID was a national pandemic, they expanded FMLA to cover COVID leave. Once COVID was no longer a national pandemic, that leave was no longer. You guys were paying out of your CARES Act money to cover people, like if I could contracted COVID, that would pay for my time, which was something you guys were doing, which was very nice. And all of that is over now, but you guys never made an official decision on whether or not you were going to continue paying money out of CARES Act funds for employees who contract COVID-19. And this topic came up a few weeks ago and people asked questions, and that's why it's on your agenda.
So your guys' discretion, but COVID now is a cold, so to me, why have the added, but your guys' discretion. Is there still there's still some CARES money?
There is still CARES Act money, I believe.
Still have money, but
Or use it for something.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you just can't use it for lobbying, use it for anything else, though,
What can we use it for?
anything you want.
Yeah, broad,
How much is it?
I have no idea, but I can find out.
Hey, just hold it. We're gonna need it.
So I'm thinking-
rainy day.
I'm serious. Yeah.
Well, I'll make a motion to no longer pay money. The CARES Act monies to, for employees contracting COVID-19.
I second it. Public comment? Being none, all in favor? Aye.
Trying to get through this.
Yeah, I don't know what else you got, I mean, most of us just sign and stuff and I'm not.
This,
Well, I'll send you a thumb drive when I get back to Mineral County tomorrow with 2 songs on it. One is a special song that we had years ago when the Cats lost 16 years in a row and it owed me so damn much money. It even has a tuba player. It's called The Bobcats Still Suck Polka.
I'd like to hear it.
It's a great
The truth hurts.
You guys, the other song I played January 13th again for the Bannock Association's annual dinner. It's a cool song. It's one we wrote years ago for the ABDVD concert, which is the anti-Valentine's Day concert, which is what we use to raise money for the benefits we do. So everybody who comes, we want you to know all the songs tonight are dedicated to people in our history who just kind of didn't treat us the way that we thought we should have. However, all of you get in power and just enjoy this and remember, your life well. There's a room somewhere in Montana singing these songs about us.
It sounds like festivals, the airing of grievances.
The best one of those is a simple song. I got rid of you, but what do I do with your tattoo? I see right now. I need to send you that song.
I like it.
Wow.
Entertainment, that's good.
I like
it.
You'll like both of them.
Good to
It's
see
not
you.
as good as the
Yeah.
finale, which is I hope you live this high on the hog as the pig you turned out to be. That's a good song too.
Have a good Christmas.
Yes, you guys too.
Yeah.
And thank you for the help with
Yeah.
this, because I'll be over for court. I think we're finishing the 21st of December. Trying to get it done by the end of the year. But I hope young George stays in one piece.
Yeah, sorry to hear.
He's had
Yeah.
to go hard.
You take care.
I
Yeah.
will, yeah.
Yep. All right.
I'll keep those in the starting if nothing else.
Was Ben coming up or they just need to be signed?
They just need to be signed after following the weed clinic that was a couple weeks ago. There's 3 of them. You just sign up.
Thank you for the nuts.
Oh, yeah.
I always feel like I'm splurging when they shouldn't. It's great, thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I'll let you know when minerals guys. will-
2 o'clock.
Yeah,
when
yeah,
that's
sounds
not-
good. All right.
He's not coming in, Chuck, so we can make a motion to sign that grant every year on that stuff.
I'll make a motion to sign the Knox Weed grant.
I second it. Public comment? It's not all in favor?
Aye.
I know we're speeding along here, but most of this is just like the reappointment of East Park, he still wants to be on there.
Yep.
I'd make a motion to keep East Park on the Tri-County Fair Board.
No second.
Public comment? Means none, all in favor?
Aye.
And Dave Kessler cannot be in today. I guess my biggest thing was this power thing, and I understand that. I think you guys need to call Jeremy or I'll get Jeremy's number again. It's just. This is the 3rd week, keep saying every week, just at the end of the.
Yeah, I understand your frustration. I think it's on the electrician, but yeah, the grades, if you want some changes to that, I would say call him right now and talk to him.
Well, he wants to do it on private, but I think we need to be on an agenda, so we're here all together.
Yeah.
But until they get the power into there, we're not, can't really do nothing until we make sure we know where the power is going.
Okay.
I guess we just cable this.
Okay.
And then I'll get a hold of, I wouldn't even cable it until I get a hold of Jeremy, Billy,
Okay,
I'll call Jeremy Finley, I'll call him right now if you don't care. I'll Jeremy Finley.
Jeremy voice.
You know, I'll keep trying to get a hold of him, find out what's going
Okay.
on, if they have to hire somebody else, might have to get hold of Palmer. And say, I don't know if Dave bought that heat tape or.
Yeah, he was gonna do that, I think, yeah.
I'll just keep checking on him. Well, and that's Granite County School District resort area, that was. This is the discussion.
So the state of Montana did the research and the school district area does not qualify to be a resort tax area.
Oh, yeah,
So, so the town does, the town looks like they're gonna move forward with the potentially a resolution and go forward with it to a vote. But yeah, that be the town working with Sarah Graham to get it on the ballot, probably, it sounds like in June. But don't want to speak for them, and that's, I think, their plan.
What was on the employee Christmas gift? Did you hear any more on that?
I reached out to Huffman's Grocery. They can absolutely furnish hams. If you guys want to go that route, I gave them a rough number and told them I would get back with them after I spoke with you guys today. with
I think
exact-
just do the hams again and then it's just so, it's easier. It's just, you know, I'm sure people don't, there's some of them don't like this and don't like that, but we're not gonna please everybody. So let's just do the hams again and we're done with it. If they don't want them, they don't have to go get them.
Yeah, and I think any hams that are unpicked up after I give them so many days are donated to the food bank, so.
That's
a good way to do it.
Yeah.
Good job. That's our, we don't matter.
Okay.
Or do we have to make?
Yeah, I do, yeah, I do, yeah. I do.
So I'll move to buy a Christmas ham for all the county employees.
I second it, public comment.
What have you done with I mean, like Debbie Robinson and people like that?
Oh, yeah,
I mean,
that's my
That's what I was
question.
just gonna say,
Yeah.
we
Did you
gave
want to
them.
include your contract employees, which would be
Yeah,
Deb
'cause
Robinson, Lauren?
They've done us a good job and stuff, I mean, it's appreciation thing, we'll find out. who-
Yeah.
Rachel Johnson does.
Oh,
some
yeah, she's one of them
contract.
I might ask Jackie, I thought there was somebody else that was helping.
Last year you did your contract employees, which included your public health contracted employees and Ben Hotman.
Yeah,
I think that's it, though.
yeah, just kind of look and see how many we
Yeah.
got last year and then
Yeah.
all in favor?
Alright,
Aye, motion carried and passed.
do we say what kind of ham?
They give them spiral ones. That's what he usually gets in, right?
Yeah.
I gave mine to my daughter.
She'll get her own next year.
Yeah, they should have get their own. But,
Get your elk.
no.
My niece and my brother both got elk like within like 5 minutes of each other. They went up on top this weekend.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Where at?
Right on top of Spring Creek, on top of our property up there. And my brother, Sophia got a cow and Paul got a bull. He said as soon as he heard hers hit the cow, he shot and got the bull. He was gone.
Freezers are full. That's good.
Oh, they're really full. I think we had to buy another one.
Yes, we can entertain most of them being done. I'm sorry to hurry through that. There was most of it just signed and paper.
Yeah.
You with me?
All right.
That we adjourn.
Second it, public comment. Thanks everybody for today and all in favor, aye.
Alright.
Done.